Sai Rama, thank you all so much for joining us today on the auspicious occasion of Swami's Aradhana Mahotsavam Day. We're going to be having a blessed satsang, and we'll be starting off today's Aradhana Mahotsavam with the Veda chanting. So now we'll be going on to 3 Ohms.
Om Gananantva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtaracham Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannoti Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinama Vitrayavato Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Jata Vedate Sunava Masoma Marati Yato Nidahati Vedaha Sanah Parshadati Durgani Vishwa Nave Vasindhum Durita Tyagnihi Ta Magnivarnam Tapasa Jwalantim Vairochanim Karma Faleshu Jishtaam Durgam Devi Gum Sharanamaham Prapadye Sutarasitarasai Namaha Agne Tvam Parayanavyo Asman Swasti Bhirati Durgani Vishwa Pushya Prithvi Pahulana Urvi Bhava Toka Yatanaya Yashayoho Vishwanino Durgaha Jataveta Sindhum Nanava Duritati Parshi Agne Atrivan Manasa Grinano O Smakam Bodhya Vita Tanuna Am Prutanajitagum Sahamana Mugra Magnigum Hubema Parama Sadasta At Sanah Parishadati Durga Nivishvakshamatdevo Atidurita Tyagnihi Pratnoshikamidyo Advareshu Sanachaho Tanavyasyasasti Swancha Agne Tanuvam Piprayaswasmabhyam Chasau Bhagamaya Jaswa Gopijushtamayi Nishiktam Tave Endra Vishnora Nusancharema Nakasya Prashtamabi Sambasano Vaishnavim Loka Ihamadayantam Om Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanyakumari Dhimahi Tanno Durgih Prachodayat Om Shanti 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 Nidanapataye Namaha Nidanapatantikaya Namaha Urdvaya Namaha Urdvalingaya Namaha Hiranyaya Namaha Hiranyalingaya Namaha Suvarnaya Namaha Suvarnalingaya Namaha Divyaya Namaha Divyalingaya Namaha Bhavaya Namaha Bhavalingaya Namaha Sharvaya Namaha Sharvalingaya Namaha Shivaya Namaha Shivalingaya Namaha Jwalaya Namaha Jwalalingaya Namaha Atmaya Namaha Atmalingaya Namaha Paramaya Namaha Paramalingaya Namaha Etatsomasya Suryasya Sarvalingagastapayati Pani Mantram Pavitram Satyo Jatam Prapadyami Satyo Jata Yavai Namo Namaha Bhave Bhavenati Bhave Bhavaswamam Bhavotpavaya Namaha Vamadevaya Namo O Jeshtaya Namah Shrestaya Namo Rudraya Namah Kalaya Namah Kalavikarana Namo Balavikarana Namo Balaya Namo Balapramatana Namah Sarvabhutadamana Namo Manonmana Namaha Agore Epyo Tagore Epyo Gora Gora Tarebhyaha सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः। ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ईशानः सर्वविद्यानामीश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवोम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवा नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते। विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मामत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर। हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः।
ओम श्री भगवान सत्य साई बाबाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सत्य स्वरूपाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सत्य धर्मपरायणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई वरदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सत्पुरुषाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सत्यगुणात्मने नमः। ओम श्री साई साधुवर्धनाय नमः। ओम श्री साई साधुजन पोषणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वज्ञाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वजन प्रियाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वशक्तिमूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वेशाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वसंग परित्यागिने नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वांतर्यामिने नमः। ओम श्री साई महिमात्मने नमः। ओम श्री साई महेश्वर स्वरूपाय नमः। ओम श्री साई पर्तिग्रामोद्भवाय नमः। ओम श्री साई पर्ति क्षेत्र निवासिने नमः। ओम श्री साई यशक्काय श्रीनिवासिने नमः। ओम श्री साई जोडियादिपल्ली सोमप्पाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भारद्वाज ऋषिगोत्राय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तवत्सलाय नमः। ओम श्री साई अपांतरात्मने नमः। ओम श्री साई अवतारमूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वभय निवारिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई आपस्तंभ सूत्राय नमः। ओम श्री साई अभयप्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई रत्नाकर वंशोद्भवाय नमः। ओम श्री साई शिरडी साई अभेद शक्ति अवताराय नमः। ओम श्री साई शंकराय नमः। ओम श्री साई शिरडी साई मूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री साई द्वारकामाई वासिने नमः। ओम श्री साई चित्रावती तटपुट्टपर्ति विहारिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई शक्ति प्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई शरणागत त्राणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई आनंदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई आनंददाय नमः। ओम श्री साई आर्तत्राणपरायणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई अनाथनादाय नमः। ओम श्री साई असहाय सहायाय नमः। ओम श्री साई लोकबांधवाय नमः। ओम श्री साई लोकरक्षापरायणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई लोकनाथाय नमः। ओम श्री साई दीन जन पोषणाय नमः। ओम श्री साई मूर्तित्रय स्वरूपाय नमः। ओम श्री साई मुक्तिप्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई कलुष विदूराय नमः। ओम श्री साई करुणाकराय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वाधाराय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वहृदयवासिने नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वपुण्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वपापक्षयकराय नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वरोगनिवारिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई सर्वबाधाहराय नमः। ओम श्री साई अनंतनुतकर्त्रिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई आदिपुरुषाय नमः। ओम श्री साई आदिशक्तिये नमः। ओम श्री साई अपरूपशक्तिने नमः। ओम श्री साई अव्यक्तरूपिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई कामक्रोधध्वंसिने नमः। ओम श्री साई कनकांबरधारिणे नमः। ओम श्री साई अद्भुतचर्याय नमः। ओम श्री साई आपद्बांधवाय नमः। ओम श्री साई प्रेमात्मने नमः। ओम श्री साई प्रेममूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री साई प्रेमप्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई प्रियाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तप्रियाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तमंदाराय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तजन हृदय विहाराय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तजन हृदयालयाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्तपराधीनाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्ति ज्ञान प्रदीपाय नमः। ओम श्री साई भक्ति ज्ञान प्रदाय नमः। ओम श्री साई सुज्ञान मार्गदर्शकाय नमः। ओम श्री साई ज्ञान स्वरूपाय नमः। Om Sri Sai Gita Bodhakaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Jnana Siddhidaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sundara Rupaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Punya Purushaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Falapradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Purana Purushaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Atitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kaladitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddhirupaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Siddha Sankalpaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Arogya Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Annavastradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Samsara Dukkha Kshayakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Abhishta Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Kalyana Gunaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Karma Dhamsine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sadhumanas Shobhitaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarvamat Sammataya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sadhumanas Parishodakaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sadhakana Gruhavata Ruksha Pratishthapakaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sakala Samsaya Haraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sakala Tattva Bodhakaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yogeshwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Yogendra Vanditaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Mangalakaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sarva Siddhi Pradaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Apanivarine Namaha. Om Sri Sai Artiharaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Shantamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Sai Sulva Prasannaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Babaya Namaha.
भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Sai Ramaya Vidmahe Atma Ramaya Dhimahi Tanno Baba Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Rama, all of you please repeat after me. O Lord,
O Lord,
take my love,
take my love,
let it flow
let it flow
in full devotion
in full devotion
to thee.
to thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my hands,
take my hands,
let them work
let them work
unceasingly
unceasingly
for thee.
for thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my soul,
take my soul,
let merge in
let merge in
perfect oneness
perfect oneness
with thee.
with thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my mind,
take my mind,
let my thoughts
let my thoughts
be in tune
be in tune
with thee.
with thee.
O Lord,
O Lord,
take my everything
take my everything
and let me
and let me
be an instrument
be an instrument
for thee.
for thee.
Sai Rama will be starting off today with experience sharing by Shilpa Aunty. First, we'll be giving a brief introduction on her.
Sai Rama, everyone. So I'm going to say a few words about Shilpa ji. Dr. Shilpa Birch is a professor and vice chair for research at University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. She obtained her PhD in 1982 in microbiology from the Maharaja's Sayajirao University, Baroda, India. Here, research is focused on the effects of HIV and drugs of abuse on the brain using animal models. She has a large research group and is a well sought after mentor for junior trainees, primarily women. She is dedicated to helping women succeed in the field of science and in personal life. She has published her work extensively and is a recipient of several awards. She has been living in Overland Park, Kansas since 1995 and has been a member of our Kansas Eye Center since then. And we are so fortunate to have her here and so fortunate to introduce Shilpaji. And she's not new here actually, but somehow I think today, before her talk, Karthik wants me to say a few words about her. It's like really think very like a big ocean. She's a big ocean kind of thing, and I'm like just picking up some kind of like little bit of water from there. So I virtually hand over the mic to Shilpaji without any delay. Shairama Shilpaji. Thank you so much.
Sairam, Lakshmi, and everybody. Thank you for this kind introduction, but these things don't really matter. I think what you are doing is commendable in life, but I really appreciate it. And I'm honored today to be here and present a few of what I know and my experiences. And actually, the story goes to before I met my husband. So I was doing my PhD. I met my husband in Baroda. He was also doing his PhD, and his family, his mother especially, has been a great devotee of Baba since her marriage. So around 1957, 56, they were living in Rajkot, and heavy believer, praying and doing the usual. She was a young mother living with her in-laws, and her father-in-law was bedridden, so she was taking care of him. And those days, Baba would travel in the cars without any problems. He would go from city to city. And there was a word that Baba is going to go from Jamnagar to Bhavnagar in Gujarat. And Rajkot was in the middle, and he would be passing by there. Nobody knew what people would line up in the highways. My her father-in-law was not well. She wanted to go because her husband, my father-in-law, had applied for a qualifying exam to do better in his job. And she wanted to go and pray and tell Baba personally because he was passing by. But being father-in-law being sick and not knowing anything, she couldn't go. But then father-in-law insisted that, Baba comes, people are lined up on the highway. Why don't you go? I will be fine with my wife here who'll take care of me. You go. So she went early morning. They walked and they went, my father-in-law and her, young parents, of little kids, they walked up there. Now, meanwhile, it seems Baba, while he was in Jamnagar, had told people that let everybody know what is my route and where I'll be going by, so people can really know. At those days, it was very easy, apparently, for people to meet Baba, to say he would stop and things. So some messengers came to the Rajkot little town, and people said, oh, here's a great devotee that lives there. So they went into my mother-in-law's house, and now there was her father-in-law, sick man, bedridden. And he said, you know what, my daughter-in-law, Priyabala, is very ardent devotee. She has already gone. Why don't you go and find out where she is and tell her this, because she'll be very excited. They want to meet Baba. I don't know how small the towns were, but this is what happened. This man goes running on the highway and yelling, where is Priyabala? Where is Priyabala? Because he thought he would give this opportunity to people to know and meet Baba. And she was surprised who's calling out her name, because apparently crowds were much less that time. And she said, yeah, it's me here. And he said, well, Baba's route is on the Railway Institute, and you need to go there and meet him. And he ran, they charged, all of the people flocked in there. And she had one of the best darshans for the first time in her life over there. And she was overwhelmed, came home, And my father-in-law, on the other hand, was not, he's a scientific mind. He never believed in these things, but he went along. He had applied for the exam. He was hoping, some miracle would happen. And then they come home and she's feeling very happy and overwhelmed and satisfied. He felt good too, I must say. And then he's saying, well, if I get my news that I got it, I'll be happy. She's saying, you will. I'm pretty sure you're going to get the news. Evening passed, nothing happened. And he was like, oh, yeah, nothing is going to happen. And at 7 o'clock in the evening, a telegram came telling him he's passed in first class. And I mean, he was totally over. He had tears flowing from his eyes, my father-in-law, that this actually manifested. Time goes on. He still was a, stickler and skeptic, not sure this is working. Whenever they would have puja in their house, they would put coconut, and he would make sure he looks at the coconut because people said that the coconut would crack. So he was a very, let me see, many times in their house, the coconut had cracked. And he gradually became also a very ardent devotee till the very end, when his last few years of his life, he became completely Baba devotee. I mean, he was, but he was overwhelmingly into Baba, singing his songs and constantly praying, so much so that when his last time came, 8 years back passed, he had a good meal, came down, was fine, and suddenly I'm feeling breathless. And the words that came out of his mouth were just Baba, Baba, and he went. So this is to let you know that how skeptics can also become. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, is a complete devotee. She reads those 1008 names for herself, her children, and for Baba's 100th year coming up. And anybody, all of our nieces, us, grandchildren, her grandchildren, or our children, and if there's any problem in the family, the first thing is we call Dadi. And Dadi, will you please pray for us? And then she starts reading 1,000. It's not a small thing to read 1008 names, let me tell you. It takes at least 30 minutes. She reads it 4 times. On top of it, if we have a problem, we tell her. Everybody tells her. Doctors, her grandchildren are doctors, married to doctors. They'll be busy. They will, let's call Dadi and say, I'm undergoing a promotion. I hope I get it. And she starts. So, and it has worked out. She completely is into Baba. She is surrendered herself. And I mean, any decision that has to be taken, she will put yes and no chit she has. And then even if she has to ask her son with whom she is living, should I do this? Should I go out? It's always a decision from the chit that she picks up, yes or no. That implicit faith, that complete faith in Baba. And I think that's where when I married Jagdeep almost 40 plus years ago, I gradually started getting interested in watching her. And what's good. My family isn't very religious. I'm a Punjabi. We were not exposed to Sai Baba at that time. And so we got married, and I was, praying, a little bit religious. We all are. And I started praying. We were to come to Canada, and Sai Baba was to visit Delhi. Her brother was a principal of Bhavan School, my mother-in-law's brother. And Baba was visiting Delhi and going to be in Justice Bhagwati's house. He was going to give darshan to people. And we had an opportunity, she had an opportunity to go and meet because her brothers had come over. We will have a nice small group here. Now, we were to come to Canada after a month. So, we had no plans to join her. I just told my husband, I said, you know what? It'll make your mom happy. Maybe we should go too. Let's just go. We decided to go. I mean, just for fun, to make my mother-in-law happy, to be honest. I wasn't a great believer or anything at that time. We went in a very small room, even smaller than what is there in your basement, Lakshmi. We had fantastic darshan. Ladies on one side, men on the other side. Baba, Jagdeep, my husband was there. I was there, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. And everybody's eager. We had written down things and we're eager to talk to him. And she had a lot of things to say to him. And she was about to say, you know, Baba, my son. And he says, I know he's going to Canada. And we were like, oh, you know, this was completely, I'm a scientist also. My mind works very logically. I just could not believe it. And then she says, Baba, I want to pray to you. I'm just praying for you. He's saying, I know what you've been doing for me. Just shut her up. And he said that, I know what you're doing for me, your prayers. I know at Rajkot. I mean, it was totally mind-boggling how he knew those things. He materialized the vibhuti, gave it to my husband along with his hanky, and my father-in-law also got the vibhuti. And there were many people in that audience. Baba took out a pendant and gave it to a lady sitting on a chair. I mean, that was my exposure and entry into this field of how things, and since then, I'm not up there yet, but how we got involved in this. Then we made several trips to Puttaparthi, where we actually had, again, good darshans. And this was all because my mother-in-law was so much into it. Every time we would go to India and she would like to visit, and Jagdeep would take her. So our children have gone, we have gone. My brother-in-law worked with a person who actually, Kanubhai Patel, who used to go and visit Baba very, very frequently. And apparently one of his sons got married somewhere there. So he had gone to attend the marriage, my brother-in-law. And in the city and town, he picked up 2 books of those 1008 names. And when he had the opportunity of actually that day of going and seeing Baba, and Baba signed it with his name, those are the books that my mother-in-law still has, torn, taped, fixed, but she keeps it very, very, that is her go-to every time. So I just feel that, yes, those things happen to people. Vibhuti comes for some people, but this has opened up a way for my mother now. She, again, as I said, we were not very religious, but how my mother has also, she's saying, I cannot thank you enough, she tells me, for introducing me to Sai Baba. I mean, she had the darshan of Baba in Puttaparthi, and she's saying, I was just thinking, this was many years back, and my mom said, Baba, if you have to take me very peacefully. And she's saying, at that very moment, Baba looked at my mom, raised his hand. So my mother still believes that I was satisfied that my end, whenever it comes, Baba is going to be with me. So these are the kind of things that, you know, sometimes miracles happen. Sometimes we wonder what goes on. But I think implicit faith and giving yourself completely. And today I read something that, you know, what do you give to Baba? I think giving all our bad habits, our imperfections to Baba is what we should do, because that's what will make us a better human being. I mean, those are the few things that I can talk about, that what has happened in my life. But I follow, and now I said, instead of troubling my mother-in-law every time for what happens to my life and my children, I have also started reading the 1008 names. It's a long process, takes time. But I think if you do it, from her example, those things have worked for her. And she will do it for a cousin, a relative who has undergone cancer surgery, a maid who is not well. She does it and takes upon herself for everybody to read that. Sometimes it's reading it 10 times, which is a lot. And every time she feels Baba has answered her. And to me, that is faith, whatever the way one can take the faith in. So I just feel that those are the kind of things we can pass on. We can implicit faith. And then whatever Baba does is going to be for our best. So I try to spread the word to as many people. I have learned a lot from the Sai Center. People have had Vibhuti come up. We know a person in Germany, Rao. I mean, this couple is a real ardent believer. And my husband used to work in Germany. And whenever they invited him, Jagdeep said that actually he has seen a lot of Vibhuti fall in his house. And he is one of those people, his whole December month is marked on his calendar. He is gone. He goes to Puttaparthi, he goes and teaches them certain subjects to children and things like that. So I think if you have a clean heart and you are, I mean, it's a bonus if you have those things happening for you. Even if it doesn't happen, I think if you have faith, Baba is always waiting to be there for you. And as we heard last week also, that loving, I think when you get rid of wrong things, love can come. There's room for love to flow. And when you have that, you almost have God telling you or Baba telling you, I'm with you. So we cannot be nasty, we cannot be angry, we cannot be rude, we cannot be jealous, and we expect that by prayers, Baba will come. So I think the trick is to surrender. We just heard about that, to surrender yourself completely. And I think Baba is waiting to, he is your slave. He will do things for you. And don't run after materialistic things. I think that we cannot ask. To me, ask for good health, ask for peace of mind. I think those are the things that we should be craving for. Not, I'm going to read this book because I want Baba to give me a car or give me I think that is not the way to do it. So become a good person and things will fall in your lap. God is waiting to take your orders. He becomes a putty in your hands. Whatever way you want him, he molds. Before you speak, your wishes are fulfilled. So to me, be good, do good, think good. I'm not saying I'm there yet. We all get angry, but I think when I see people that are in a bliss, for whom things happen, miracles happen, it's almost like God is saying, what do you want? I'll give it to you. So I think I will stop there and give others a chance. Sai Ram.
Wow, Sai Ram, Shilpa Aunty, those were wonderful experiences. And I'm shocked how you're done so soon. There's still like about 15 minutes left for you to
If
share your
anyone
thoughts.
has question answers, we can
We can have a general discussion on this. Yeah.
Sure. No, we can open up the floor for a question and answer session. Let's see. Anyone who wants to ask any questions to Shilpa Aunty, please feel free to unmute. So one question I have is, so the times when you went to Prashanti Nilayam, like, could you like kind of speak about the first time you've been there, what it was like back then?
So we went when there was a significantly large number of people, and we stayed in the outskirts. We went in for darshan. My mother-in-law knew exactly what time and everything. I was still not very aware of it, but that energy and the electric, it's almost that you cannot even explain how you feel when you see Baba pass by you. There is a fear, there is a warmth. I think there's a whole mix of all emotions that I felt, but it was a feeling of calmness. It was a feeling of ultimate bliss when you saw him. I mean, there's an aura of, vibhuti like thing around his hair that we saw. And it was just, he was just gliding through the crowds. People were crying. People were completely, it was a very out of this world experience that I had. And, I wish I was more evolved at that time to be able to take it well, but it was bliss. It was sheer bliss that I felt. And I think not once, but 2 or 3 times we've had the opportunity to go there. So that was, and I wish I can go there and do something for the university and teach voluntary like our friend is doing. Maybe one of these days I will make that plunge, But meanwhile, anybody who is on this Zoom call or in person, anything I can do to help children, mentoring, school, we take kids in our labs, help them for medical school entrance, anything that I can do in any woman, any conversations, I'm always available in there. So please, we are all here to be with each other and follow the right path.
Yes, Shilpaji. Thank you so much for offering your service to everyone here. And also in near future, maybe you can go as a visiting faculty there.
I need to look into that. I think I'm definitely, because what do I do when I retire? I think I'm going to do something like that. Yeah.
see, if not like every time, but at least once in your lifetime, you should go there and do like more like you have so much knowledge, I think, in your field. I think definitely they need some guidance from you. Maybe in near future it will happen.
And
That's what.
coming as I will talk about personal experience, coming as an Indian woman who is highly protected in a
Mhm.
field of academia, it was not easy. I had bosses that were screaming, that were nasty, I was crying and talking to my husband
Mhm.
because I didn't know how to react. And I think it was the faith that held me through, that pushed me through, and made me a human being that I am today, because I could not open my mouth in front of these people when I first came. A lot of our Indian, we are like that when we first come as immigrants. But Babas, we prayed. We were all coming at that time to the Sai thing institute, and we just feel that that's what took us and has made me grow as a better human. I've a long way to go. I will not say I am reached there yet, but clearly adversities when they come is when your faith is tested. So the two things that about Shraddha and Saburi, I cannot belabor that point enough. I probably have Shraddha, but I think Saburi is something I need to master myself more. I get very hyper still about certain things. But those are the things that is, and to this day, detachment. I mean, you can take away my diamonds, my thing, I will not be affected. But yes, I need to be calmer human being. And I'm just opening up and telling you, those are my faults and problems. And I think going to Puttaparthi, teaching voluntarily will be a way to also improve myself more. And I'm seriously going to do that. So what I was and what I am, I think is entirely because of this faith of Baba. And I've been to Shirdi many times. Also, my mother-in-law, I'll tell you another incident. My husband met with an accident before he met me. And so he left home to go to movie with his cousin. And the house phone, which they had, was given those days to a neighbor because neighbor was having heart conditions. So my husband's brother was flying to overseas. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law were home. Husband has gone to the cousin to watch a movie. And in between, accident happens. Drunk cab driver comes, hits him on his motorbike or scooter. And my husband was wearing a helmet that was crushed into pieces. He's bleeding. Now the cousin thinks Jagdeep has decided not to come for the movie because there was no phone, so he couldn't connect. Meanwhile, Jagdeep is lying with bleeding from the ear, and somebody says, "What's your name?" And he says, "Jagdeep." And there used to be a Jagdish pharmacy in those days in that area. So somebody thought it's Jagdish pharmacy. They called that guy. That guy comes and says, "You know what? It's not my brother, but if it was my brother, I would have taken care." So he took him to the hospital, got arrangement for the medications. And meanwhile, my mother-in-law in the night is restless. Why has Jagdeep not come? My sister-in-law said, he may be sleeping with the cousin. Don't worry. She's saying, "No, let's go. Let's find out." She said, "Mom, it's too late in the night. In the morning, we'll go and call and find out." At 5 o'clock, this happened 3-4 times in the night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, she got angry with my sister-in-law. She said, "I'm going to the neighbor and calling if you're not going." So they go, and the cousin says, "He has not come." And imagine a mother's plight. And my mother-in-law was just saying, "I am going to have full faith in Shirdi." They were in Nasik, which is very near to Shirdi. She says, "I'm going to have faith in Baba and pray." Of course, they looked at all the hospitals, called up, they found out where he is. They have got very good connections in Mumbai. They called the orthopedic, who is their uncle. He said, 48 hours you wait. If he survives, you bring him. Otherwise, we don't know. Jagdeep's brother was going to fly to Germany. From the airport, they called him and said, "Don't go. Please come back. You have an emergency." So he comes home. 48 hours, my mother-in-law has done nothing but prayed to Shirdi and Satya Sai Baba. That's all. She says, "I'm going." She didn't break down. She was crying, but she didn't give up. She kept praying. He was better. They took him to top hospital in Mumbai because they had connections there and uncles there. And he recovered. And it was entirely her faith, I would say, where she said, I'm going to pray. That's all I'm going to do. And this is a real story. This is actually what has happened. And what happened with Jagdeep, he doesn't remember anything of his 10 days of his life, what happened. He cannot hear from one of his ears, but he is saved. And how that pharmacist came, how he got, I mean, it's all you, when you think how the things got connected, when you connect the dots, looking back, that there must be a divine power.
Looks like you went on to mute, Shobhanti.
No, I'm not muted.
Okay, perfect. We can hear you
Now
now.
we are.
So I'm just saying that there must be a divine force, and the faith amplified that divine force, I think. This is if a mother gave up and said, I don't know what will happen, anything could happen. I think our faith is what pulls us. And if you think positively, positive things are going to happen to you. So this was a real life story that, you know, somebody stranger took care and took him to the hospital. Fortunately, he was fine for 48 hours. Then they took him, and the rest is history, as they say. So that faith again helped her. And she lives by that faith, my mother-in-law. I mean, she is really a believer, and she will not miss her puja part routine every day. She is into it. She's watching TV with Baba's Aarti or constantly into that mode she is. And her faith has moved many things. I mean, I think she is given us all a strength also. She's a very strong woman. When I get nervous, she gives me strength also. So I think we are very blessed in that sense to have somebody like that in our life. A big life incident like that helped all of us through because of Baba's faith. So this is something that I should have mentioned. Yeah.
Wow, that was simply amazing, Shobhanti.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, that is, even now I had not known Jagdeep that time, but I get goosebumps thinking about this, that imagine somebody lying, bleeding, head on accident, and, you know, your parents don't know where you are. You know, it was hard. Yeah.
All Swami's grace, I know.
It is his grace. It is his grace. And I think what I'm again saying and belaboring is be good so you accumulate good karmas, because in bad times, that's what's going to pull you out. Don't think bad, don't act bad, and don't be stressed.
I know. Yeah. It's like really inspiring for all of us to follow what you said. It's very true, very true. We have to implement in our lives on regular. Yes. So gentle reminders for all of us. Thank you, Shilpa.
Oh, thank you, Sai Ram.
Does anyone else have any questions for Shilpanti? We'll give it like about 15 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, faith is, you know, praying is one thing, but when you really test it, how do you react? And do you really have faith, or you break down? That's the key. And to say, he will take care.
That's very true.
Yes, so true.
And
we don't tell Baba, don't give us problems, but we say, give us the strength to bear the problems. Let the problems come, but give me the strength so that I become a stronger person.
Very true.
To overcome,
Yeah.
More positive energy. Yes.
And I see Brother Sai Shivakumar has his mic on. Sai Ram.
Sai, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Auntie. It was a nice talk. I did have a question. So you were talking about faith. In this materialistic world, we go after a lot of opportunities, and our flickering mind thinks through a lot of possibilities, and there could be S's and no's. We don't know what's good for us, but we don't hear some conversations that God hears. So he knows a best plan for us than what we know. So is there any moment in your life where you happen to have, you didn't make a choice, but that turned out to be good, or a moment where it wouldn't have been possible with Swami interfering into this? How do you instill that faith?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. I was working in Kansas University Medical Center up until 2009, and the person I was working with died. I could have continued living there, but the whole institute really fell apart. I got an offer to come to Omaha, which means I had to drive to Omaha. My husband lives here. I was 55, and I said, can I do it? I am not being a very outgoing person. I've become an outgoing person. And I'm 55, and my postdocs are telling me, are you crazy at this age? Why you want to go away? I said, you know what? I will give it. So again, getting out of your comfort zone, God, if you have God's faith, you say, I will do it. If I don't do well, I'll come back. Doesn't matter. I'm going to give it a try, because this position was offering me a lot of good things. I had to live alone. I had to manage alone in an apartment. I lived there. I have been doing this for the last 13 years now. So if you have that faith, God is with me. I will do it. If it doesn't work, I'll come back. And choosing things so that you are not always comfortable. Get out of your comfort zone and believe that there is a higher power that will hold you and lift you, because your success won't come sitting in around the same well. You have to take chances. You have to take a risk and believe that there is somebody who will push you and take you in your arms. And that's what I did. And I couldn't be happier in Omaha. It is one of the best decisions of my life. I got a lot of stuff here. I'm enjoying this. And without faith, I would not have done this. And of course, faith can come in any form. Like my husband told me, you know what? Give it a try. If it doesn't work, so somebody has to stand for you. Maybe Baba in the form of my husband told me, go. And I listened to him and I went. So follow people that are going to give you good advice, who are there to push you in the right directions. I could never have imagined this person. I wouldn't even go and pay my fees in India. My mother would send somebody I still don't know finances, how to operate. But I changed. And now, you move on in life, you grow. And that's because you have that inner strength, faith, whatever you call it, in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself too. And who lives in you? It's God. So I feel that to me, those were several incidents. Once my husband had he's got a lot. He had epilepsy fit in Toronto, and out of the blue, children were very young. I was not driving. I had learned driving, but he was always taking me around. I didn't feel the need to drive. And now he had this epileptic fit. They did all the neurological testing, imaging, and they said he can't drive for 3 months. He has to go to work. He was not going to listen. He said, I'm going to drive. I don't care. He drove. I lived my life in fear for the 3 months. I said, oh my God, what if he meets with an accident while he gets a fit while driving? What will I do? Fear, 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 fear. Although I was praying and I had faith, I had fear. That fear did not allow me to do anything until I went to Florida for a meeting. And one of my friends says, Shilpa, you better drive. That's freedom. What are you doing not driving? You needed somebody to poke you and tell you that. She told me that. And I say, you know what? That's true. And if it has to happen, it will happen. Whatever God has planned. I cannot live in fear. I went, gave my test. And then I would say, people from India, women come with oiled hair and not studied well, and they can drive big vans. What's wrong with me when I'm a PhD here? I failed twice, by the way, the driving test. But then I passed, and it was a breeze, a light feeling. Same thing once, I was very, I'd moved. Do I have time, Karthik, or I'm going on and on? Do I have time?
Yes, you do, Auntie. Please go ahead.
So when we first moved from Canada to here in 95, I was home for 1 year because Canada gives you money, salary for 1 year if your husband has got a job here. So I was home. When you're home, your idle mind is devil's workshop. I would look at myself and I looked at my mouth and I said, oh, I've got a blister. I called the doctor and I said, I have a blister and it's growing. He says, you've said 2 magical words. Come on over, we'll do the biopsy. Now, the minute I heard the word biopsy, I was so scared that time, 95. I said, oh God, I'm going to die because they'll give me anesthesia. I won't wake up. I wrote a long diary and a letter to the children. They were young, 6th and 4th grade. I said, Mom loves you. Mom may not come back. Whoa, whatever nonsense I wrote. Then I had to go in the evening to buy groceries because we were expecting some guests. So I go to buy groceries. And one of my friends, American friend, meets me. Says, Shilpa, how are you? And the minute she says, how are you? I started crying. I said, tomorrow I have to go for my biopsy. And so she just looks at me squarely and she says, if it has to happen, it will. We'll deal with it then. Again, somebody in the form of Baba came and gave me that strength and said, if it happens, it happens. We deal with it that time, okay? She came, dropped me. We did the biopsy, came back home. Results were negative. So we sometimes, our fear stops us from keeping our faith also. And those little things kept telling me over time that, you know what, I can do it. And if it worst thing comes, we have a habit of making things big in our mind. Small problem happens, we Google the disease and we say, oh, I have the worst disease in my life. We should not be like that. They say all your worries, you write down and put it in a jar and you see how many come true. Very few. But we tuned ourselves to think, and we have faith in Baba. We pray every evening, but we worry. So you have to talk to yourself. And that's why Omaha has been good. I have a lot of time alone. I reflect on myself and say, you know what, I could improve on this. I'm not the best human being here. So analyze yourself, have faith and say, life is meant to enjoy it. Every minute, find joy in everything. So you're not thinking negative, and avoid negative people and stop worrying. Okay, I'll stop now.
Thank you, Auntie, for
I don't know if I answered your question, but
well, the reason I asked is as a youngster, we think that we are trying to write our life, writing our destiny, but God has a plan for us. We just need to stick with that plan and live in present. Stop worrying about the past or future. Just live in present and
enjoy the life.
Yeah.
Enjoy every minute with everybody, and do not think this is my child, so only I will do it for my children. Do it with everybody. Everybody is your own. Okay, it's not me, myself. Everyone is your own. See God in everybody, and then you see life is so beautiful. You know, at least that's what I feel, that, you know, you do not have to be only like my children are in California. I have a great group of people in my work, and I find they stand by me like my children, even when my children are not there. So think of it as whoever God has given you in your life, good or bad people, are there to teach you something and learn from that.
Thank you. Over to you, Sai.
Thank you so much, Sai, for asking those wonderful questions. We were able to get a few more wonderful experiences out of Shilpa Auntie. So those were really valuable, Sai. Thank you so much.
Very good questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Shilpa.
Thank you, Sairam. I enjoyed this very much.
I'm here.
Same here. Sairam Shilpa Auntie on behalf of Kansas Sai Center, we'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity, and for those beautiful experiences and examples. It's truly amazing.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you. Thank you once again. From all of us, Shilpa.
Thank you, Lakshmi. This is such an honor, and I feel very blessed.
We are thankful to Swami. I think I'm so
Yes.
glad we are all here on this auspicious occasion of Swami's Aradhana Day.
Sairam.
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 And now we'll be moving on to the bhajan session, followed by the next guest speaker.
Ganesha Sharanam Savanam Ganesha
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha
Ganesha Savanam Savanam Ganesha
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha
Ganesha Savanam Savanam Ganesha
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha
Ganesha Savanam Savanam Ganesha
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha
Saisa Savanam Savanam Saisa
Saisha Sharanam Sharanam Saisha
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 Ganesha Savanam Savanam Ganesha
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha
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 Saisa Savanam Savanam Saisa
Saisha Sharanam Sharanam Saisha
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 Ganesha Savanam Savanam Ganesha
माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, साई माता जगत जननी, साई माता जगत जननी, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, वीणा वादिनी सरस्वती माता जगत पालिनी गौरी माता, अम्बे भवानी लक्ष्मी माता, अम्बे भवानी लक्ष्मी माता, साई माता जगत जननी, साई माता जगत जननी, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, साई माता जगत जननी, साई माता जगत जननी, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ, वीणा वादिनी सरस्वती माता, वीणा वादिनी सरस्वती माता, जगत पालिनी गौरी माता, जगत पालिनी गौरी माता, अम्बे भवानी लक्ष्मी माता, लक्ष्मी माता, अम्बे भवानी लक्ष्मी माता, साई माता जगत जननी, साई माता जगत जननी, माँ हे माँ, माँ हे माँ,
जय मां आनन्दमयी जननी जय मां आनन्दमयी जननी सबको कृपा करो जननी सबको कृपा करो जननी भक्त जनों के मंगल करिनी भक्त जनों के मंगल करिनी मंगल करो जननी माँ मंगल करो जननी तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी माँ तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी सबको कृपा करो जननी सबको कृपा करो जननी जय मां आनंदमयी जननी सबको कृपा करो जननी भक्त जनों के मंगल करिनी भक्त जनों के मंगल करिनी मंगल करो जननी माँ मंगल करो जननी तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी माँ तुम हो प्रेमदायिनी सबको कृपा करो जननी सबको कृपा करो जननी जय मां आनंदमयी जननी
Krishna Rama Govinda Gokula Nandana Gopala Krishna Rama Govinda Gokula Nandana Gopala Rama Krishna Govinda Jaya Brindavana Gopala Rama Krishna Govinda Jaya Brindavana Gopala Sai Krishna Govinda Partipurishwara Gopala Sai Krishna Govinda Partipurishwara Gopala Gopala Sai Gopala Gopala Sai Gopala Gopi Manohara Gokula Bala Sai Murari Gopi Manohara Gokula Bala Sai Murari Krishna Rama Govinda Gokula Nandana Gopala Rama Krishna Govinda Jaya Brindavana Gopala Sai Krishna Govinda Partipurishwara Gopala Gopala Sai Gopala Gopi Manohara Gokula Bala Sai Murari Gopi Manohara Gokula Bala Sai Murari Krishna Rama Govinda Gokula Nandana Gopala
जय गुरु Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Brahma Vishnu Shiva Sai Ram. Brahma Vishnu Shiva Sai Ram. Para Brahma Rupa Sai Ram. Para Brahma Rupa Sai Ram. Mata Pita Guru Sai Ram. Mata Pita Guru Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jagan Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Rama Vishnu Shiva Sai Ram. Rama Vishnu Shiva Sai Ram. Brahma Rupa Sai Ram. Brahma Rupa Sai Ram. Mata Pita Guru Sai Ram. Mata Pita Guru Sai Ram. Jagat Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jagat Guru Satya Sai Ram. Jaya Guru Sai Ram. Jagat Guru Satya Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Janani Satya Sai Subha Janani. Janani Satya Sai Subha Janani. Jagatkarini Paripurani Saiswari Janani. Jagatkarini Paripurani Saishwari Janani. Satya Swarupini Janani. Dai Dharma Samvardini Janani. Satya Swarupini Janani. Sai Dharma Samvardini Janani. Shanta Swarupini Janani. Shanta Swarupini Janani. Sai Prema Pradayini Janani. Sai Prema Pradayini Janani. Janani Satya Sai Subha Janani. Janani Satya Sai Subha Janani. Jagatkarini Paripurani Saiswari Janani. Satya Swarupini Janani. Sai Dharma Samvardini Janani. Shanta Swarupini Janani. Sai Prema Pradayini Janani. Sai Prema Pradayini Janani. Janani Satya Sai Shubha Janani.
Atma Rama Ananda Ramana, Atma Rama Ananda Ramana, Achyuta Keshava Hari Narayana, Achyuta Keshava Hari Narayana, Bhavabhayaharana Vandita Charana, Bhavabhayaharana Vandita Charana, Raghukula Bhushana Rajivanayana, Raghukula Bhushana Rajivanayana, Adi Narayana Ananta Shayana, Adi Narayana Ananta Shayana, Sachidananda Satyanarayana, Sachidananda Sai Narayana, Atma Rama Ananda Ramana, Atma Rama Ananda Ramana, Achyuta Keshava Hari Narayana, Achyuta Keshava Hari Narayana, Bhavabhayaharana Vandita Charana, Bhavabhayaharana Vandita Charana, Raghukula Bhushana Rajivanayana, Raghukula Bhushana Rajivanayana, Adi Narayana Ananta Shayana, Adi Narayana Ananta Shayana, Sachidananda Satyanarayana, Sachidananda Sai Narayana, Atma Rama Ananda Ramana.
Sairam. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजावे, त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजावे, डम 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 डमरू बजा, डम 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 डमरू बजा, गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय, गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय. बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय. झूठ जटा में गंगा धारी, त्रिशूल धारी डमरू बजावे, डम 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 डमरू बजा, गूंज उठाओ नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय. बोलो बोलो सब मिल बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय. साईं राम.
Sai Ram Anaganti.
I always forget. Sorry.
No worries, we can hear you now.
साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साई नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, सारी भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। साई राम।
साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, निराकार हे आकार सत्य साई सद्गुरु, निराकार हे आकार सत्य साई सद्गुरु, साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, ओंकार सद्गुरु निर्विकार सद्गुरु, निर्विकार सद्गुरु, ओंकार सद्गुरु निर्विकार सद्गुरु, ओंकार सद्गुरु, साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, मात पिता सद्गुरु सकल तुम ही सद्गुरु, मात पिता सद्गुरु सकल तुम ही सद्गुरु, 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 साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, निराकार हे अकार सत्य साई सद्गुरु, ओंकार सद्गुरु निर्विकार सद्गुरु, निर्विकार सद्गुरु, ओंकार सद्गुरु, साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु, माता पिता सद्गुरु सकल तुम ही सद्गुरु, 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 साईनाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्मरूप सद्गुरु।
सत्यस्वरूपिणि मा साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणि मा सत्यस्वरूपिणि मा साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा विघ्न विनाशिनि भव भयहारिणि कालिकपालिनि मा विघ्न विनाशिनि भव भयहारिणि कालिकपालिनि मा ये त्रिभुवन पालिनि मंगलकारिणि मोक्षप्रदायिनि मा त्रिभुवन पातारिणि मंगलकारिणि मोक्षप्रदायिनि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा सत्य स्वरूपिणि मा साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा विघ्न विनाशिनि भव भयहारिणि कालिकपालिनि मा विघ्न विनाशिनि भव भयहारिणि कालिकपालिनि मा हे त्रिभुवनकारिणि मंगलकारिणि मोक्षप्रदायिनि मा ये त्रिभुवन पालिनि मंगलकारिणि मोक्षप्रदायिनि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा परमानंददायिनि हृदय निवासिनि पति निवासिनि मा सत्य स्वरूपिणि मा साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणि मा
बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठला 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 साई नारायण रंग रंग 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 विठ्ठला बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठला बोलो नारायण जय विठ्ठला गोविंद विठ्ठला रखुमाई विठ्ठला गोविंद विठ्ठला रखुमाई विठ्ठला गोविंद विठ्ठला रखुमाई विठ्ठला गोविंद विठ्ठला रखुमाई विठ्ठला गोपाल विठ्ठला पांडुरंग विठ्ठला गोपाल विठ्ठला पांडुरंग विठ्ठला गोपाल विठ्ठला पांडुरंग विठ्ठला गोपाल विठ्ठला पांडुरंग विठ्ठला श्रीरंग विठ्ठला साई रंग 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 विठ्ठला बोलो नारायण जय जय विठ्ठला बोलो नारायण जय विठ्ठला साई नारायण रंग रंग विठ्ठला नारायण बोलो नारायण जय विठला बोलो नारायण जय विठला गोविंद विठला रखुमाई विठला गोविंद विठला रखुमाई विठला गोपाल विठला पांडुरंग विठला गोपाल विठला पांडुरंग विठला श्रीरंग विठला साई रंग 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 विठला बोलो नारायण जय जय विठला साईराम
साईराम
बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा जगदीशा बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा जगदीशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा भव भयहारी हे त्रिपुरारी भयहारी हे त्रिपुरारी भव भयहारी हे त्रिपुरारी शिव गंगाधर साई मुरारी गंगाधर साई मुरारी शिव गंगाधर साई मुरारी गंगाधर साई मुरारी बोला नाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ साईनाथ 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 बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा कैलेश्वर हर उमा महेशा बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा भव भयहारी हे त्रिपुरारी शिव गंगाधर साई मुरारी बोला नाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ साईनाथ साईनाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ बोला नाथ साईनाथ 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 बोला नाथ हरे जगदीशा
आनंद सागरा मुरलीधरा
आनंद सागरा मुरलीधरा
आनंद सागरा मुरलीधरा
आनंद सागरा मुरलीधरा
वीरा प्रभु राधे श्याम वेणुगोपाला
वीरा प्रभु राधे श्याम वेणुगोपाला
Sagara Muralidhara.
Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Mana 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 Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Jana Murali Jana Murali Namo Namo Narayana Namo 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 Satsang Namo Satyanarayana Namo Satyanarayana Namo Satyanarayana Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Manu Madhusudana Madhava Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh Jana Murali Murali Namo Namo Satyanarayana Namo Satyanarayana Namo Satyanarayana Giridhar Govind Gopal Ganesh
Iratisayana Narayana
Kshairabdhisayana Narayana
Lakshmi Ramana Narayana
Sri Lakshmi Ramana Narayana
Narayana Hari Narayana
Narayana
Hari Rupa Narayana
Rupa Narayana
వైకుంఠవాస నారాయణ
వైకుంఠవాస నారాయణ
వైదేహి మోహన నారాయణ
వైదేహి మోహన నారాయణ
నారాయణ హరి నారాయణ
నారాయణ
జన పరిపాలన నారాయణ
జన పరిపాలన నారాయణ
క్షీరాబ్దిశయన నారాయణ
క్షీరాబ్ది శయన నారాయణ
శ్రీలక్ష్మీ రమణ నారాయణ
శ్రీలక్ష్మీ రమణ నారాయణ
నారాయణ హరి నారాయణ
నారాయణ
హరి రూప నారాయణ వైకుంఠవాస నారాయణ
వైకుంఠవాస నారాయణ
వైదేహి మోహన నారాయణ
వైదేహి మోహన నారాయణ
నారాయణ హరి నారాయణ
నారాయణ
జన పరిపాల నారాయణ
నట జన పరిపాలన నారాయణ
నట జన పరిపాల నారాయణ
నట జన పరిపాలన నారాయణ క్షీరాబ్ది శయన నారాయణ శ్రీలక్ష్మీ రమణ నారాయణ
ఆంజనేయ వీర హనుమంత శూర వాయు కుమార వానర వీర ఆంజనేయ వీర హనుమంత శూర వాయు కుమార వానర వీర శ్రీరామ్ జయ రామ్ జయ జయ రామ్ సీతారాం జయ రాధే శ్యామ్ శ్రీరామ్ జయ రామ్ జయ జయ రామ్ సీతారాం జయ రాధే శ్యామ్ శ్రీరామ్ జయ రామ్ జయ జయ రామ్ సీతారాం జయ రాధే శ్యామ్ Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sita Ram Jai Sai Ram Anjaneya Veera Hanumanta Shura Vayu Kumara Vanara Veera Anjaneya Veera Hanumanta Shura Vayu Kumara Vanara Veera Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sita Ram Jai Radhe Shyam Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sita Ram Jai Radhe Shyam Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sita Ram Jai Radhe Shyam Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sita Ram Jai Sai Ram Anjaneya Veera Hanumanta Shura
Subramanyam Subramanyam Shanmukanatha Subramanyam 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 Sainatha Subramanyam Shiva 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 Subramanyam Hara 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 Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam Shiva Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Guru Sharavana Bhava Subramanyam Shiva Shiva Hara Hara Subramanyam Hara Hara Shiva Shiva Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanatha Subramanyam 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 Sainatha Subramanyam 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 Sainatha Subramanyam 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 Shanmukanatha Subramanyam 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 Sainatha Subramanyam
Om Tat Sat Shri Narayana Tu Purushottama Guru Tu Siddha Buddha Tu Skanda Vinayaka Savita Pavaka Tu Savita Pavaka Tu Brahmamasya Tu Yahova Shakti Tu Yeshu Pita Prabhu Tu Rudra Vishnu Tu Rama Krishna Tu Rahimatahu Tu Rahimatahu Tu Vasudeva Go Vishwarupatu Chidananda Haritu Advitiya Tu Akala Nirbhaya Atmalinga Shivatu आत्मलिंग शिव तू, परमात्मलिंग शिव तू. असतो मा सद्गमया,
तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मृतम् गमय. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Sai Rama, talk for the day from Prashanti Noyam on the occasion of Aradhana Mahotsavam Day. We ascribe different names to the same principle according to the convenience for reference. For example, this body has been given the name Satya. This name is given to the body and not to me. I am not the body. I'm not the intellect. I am not the chitta. I am not imagination. Bhagavan is Bhagavan. We must develop such firm faith. It is possible that the minds of some people are susceptible to some disturbances due to changes in food habit and recreation. It is also possible that they may be influenced by some friends in this regard. Hence, I advise you to join the company of noble souls. It is possible that everyone can attain mukti, liberation, but when? The moment you establish yourself in the truth, I am Atma, you will attain liberation. Always think, Swami is in me, I am in Swami. However, there will be no use if you simply repeat, I am Swami, with a fickle mind. Develop firm faith. I am Swami, I am God, I am God. It is only when you develop that firm conviction you will attain divinity, which is Nirgunam, Niranjanam, Santanam, Niketanam, Nitya, Sanatanam, Niketanam, Nitya, Sutta, Buddha, Mukta, Nirmala, Swarupinam. God is attributeless, unsullied, the final abode, eternal, pure, enlightened, free, and embodiments of sacredness. Baba. Sai Rama, now we'll be moving on to the second guest speaker of the Aradhana Mahotsavam Satsang for our Kansas Sai Center. Today we have with us Brother Anant Srinivas, so we'll be giving a brief introduction on him. So Dr. Anant Srinivas was raised in Chennai, where he did his schooling till class 10. He was part of Balikas program organized by the local Samiti. He joined the Sri Satya Sai Higher Secondary School in 2009 and passed out in 2011, and then joined the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in 2011 and completed his BSc Honors in Mathematics from the Vrindavan campus in 2014, followed by MSc in Mathematics in Prashanti Noyam campus and passed out in 2016. During the academic year for 2016 to 2017, he was a full-time lecturer at Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning Vrindavan campus, teaching mathematics to bachelor students. He joined the PhD program in 2017 and completed it in 2022. He was fortunate to join the Prashanti Mandir Bhajan group under the divine guidance in 2010 and has sung in the Sai Kulwant Hall for 13 years since then. He was also blessed with the chance to offer Harikatha and Burakatha performances in the Divine Presence. Currently, he is a postdoctoral fellow at the Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center, New Orleans, in the area of computational neuroscience. Now I'd like to virtually hand over the mic to Brother Anant. Sai Ram, brother.
Om Shri Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Brother Sai Karthik, for the introduction. I'm not sure if I'll be able to express in words how grateful I am to be a part of this satsang today. I would like to start with a small prayer. आयत भक्तिं रोक्यदा महामहिमोज्ज्वल सत्य धर्म संधायिकी
Sairam brother, we're not able to hear you.
You're not able to hear me? Sairam?
We can hear. So there must be something on your end, Karthik.
Oh, you're able to hear? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know, Shilpanti. I'll take a look.
No
You can-
worries.
Yeah. आयत भक्तिमृक्यदा महामहिमोज्ज्वल सत्यधर्मसन्धायिकी लोकरक्षणविधायिकी भक्तमनस्सरोरुहस्थायिकी दीनहीन जनता फलदायिकी तल्लिगुंडेलो हायिकी तल्लिगुंडेलो हायिकी पुट्टपर्ति कलशांबुधिकी सायिकी सत्य सायिकिन् सत्य सायिकिन् దోసిట గులాబీ పువ్వులతో నీవాకిట నిలబడి ఉన్నామయ్యా నీవాకిట నిలబడి ఉన్నామయ్యా నీవాకిట నిలబడి ఉన్నామయ్యా సాయిబాబా సత్య సాయి నువ్వు రాయసములికే రాజాధిరాజువయ్యా చల చల్లని చూపులతో మెల్లమెల్లని నడకలతో భక్తుల నడుమా తిరిగావయ్యా భక్తుల బ్రతుకులు చదివావయ్యా బ్రహ్మ రాసిన రాతను చెరిపావయ్యా బ్రహ్మ రాతను తిరిగి రాసావయ్యా నువ్వు రాయసములికే రాజాధిరాజువయ్యా దోసిట గులాబీ పువ్వులతో నీవాకిట నిలబడి ఉన్నామయ్యా. The words of this song say that all of us are having flowers, roses in our hands, standing at the entrance of the kingdom, the huge palace where the emperor is none other than our beloved Bhagwan. And he, the lyric says, Brahma rasina ratanu chedipavaya, Brahma ratanu tirigi rasavaya. He is capable of changing the fate of us and he can even rewrite. He is that powerful. And to that powerful avatar, the Lord entity, I offer my humble obeisance at his divine lotus feet. As I began this, I really feel myself blessed to even be just witnessing this satsang today, forget being a part of it. In fact, I want to start by thanking Shilpa Aunty for her wonderful talk. In fact, she used this word that sometimes Swami uses some people to make you to tell something so that when you listen from them is what is a push. You know that it is Swami who's telling through them. And that is exactly what has happened, madam, when you spoke today. I guess I had to hear that from you. And probably in the next couple of minutes, you will understand why I had to hear what I had to hear from you. So just to give a brief background about myself and my family. And today I am here to just share a few experiences that we were blessed to have by his grace, by Bhagwan's grace and blessings. And I'm very grateful that even the last few days I was just able to even cherish these memories and thoughts. So my father hails, belong, like our paternal family was predominantly in Dharmavaram, Anantapur district. My grandfather was working in the railways and he was a parcel officer. He was posted mainly in the Anantapur district, and he was also a parcel officer mainly at Dharmavaram during his introduction to somebody called Sai Baba. Dharmavaram was very close to Parthi. In fact, Puttaparthi also never had a railway station, so Dharmavaram railway station was the nearest then. And my grandfather's introduction to Swami was not very fancy or anything. It was just a very simple one, that someday a group of people called him to attend a bhajan session. And then he went to the bhajan session and he was so mesmerized by just experiencing what he went through during the bhajans. And then he started going regularly. It was as simple as that. And when my father, my uncle, my aunt, all of them were born, and they were naturally inducted into the Bal Vikas. In fact, my auntie went on to study in the Anantapur college for 3 years. She did her bachelor's there. And so my father and all of them were a part of these Bal Vikas, and they had multiple occasions to see Bhagwan. And also because of my grandfather being a parcel officer, a lot of goods or the things that used to come to Prashanti Nilayam used to come to Dharmavaram through the goods, and then my grandfather was instrumental in shipping them, like mailing them to Prashanti Nilayam. And this was during Bhagwan's 60th birthday, I think, and there were a lot of goods, and the Dharmavaram Sevadal and youth participated in mass to take a lot of things, because the preparations were very, very flamboyant for Bhagwan's birthday. So they were taking all the parcels and everything that came to Parthi, and they had made themselves into batches, organized themselves, and then they were taking. And Swami was very pleased with their service, and Swami wanted to just as a token of his appreciation and love, he wanted to offer clothes to them. And my father had finished his diploma. He had done diploma in engineering, and he was also then, I think he was working in railways for a short period of time. But due to financial constraints, he had to look for another job. And in that point of time, he was fully invested in this work and taking all of them to Parthi. And my grandfather or my father, none of them held any positions in the Samiti then. So when they went to Prashanti Nilayam and Swami, they were reading out names, and then they used to call the person, and then they got an opportunity to go towards Swami and take the safari clothes, the white clothes that Swami used to give. And to my father's disappointment, unfortunately, his name was not read, and instead of his name, it was someone else's name who was not even there around. And that just broke my father's heart, and he was extremely disappointed. He felt very bad, and he was all the more kind of angry within, that Swami, in front of you, somebody, that I worked for this, that I was a part of it, but why did you not do anything about it? And he just left to the bus stand. He wanted to go. He had to go to Hyderabad for his job interview. And there was another person, like my grandfather's colleague, they used to call him TXR uncle. He became very close to Bhagwan physically, and he even took VRS and settled down in Parthi. Even today, sir is settled in Prashanti Nilayam, and his children studied in Swami's institutions. And so that uncle noticed that my father was missing, and he went to the bus stand to talk to him, saying, so my father's name is Nagaraja Rao. He said, Raja, you know about Swami, right? Nothing gets unnoticed by Bhagwan, and if he has not given you what you feel is due for you, then have faith that there is something else that he has planned for you, which you may not know now, and only time will tell you. But he was so disappointed that nothing was going into his head. It's just that he felt that he did not get an opportunity to go near Swami physically and then take those clothes. And then he went to Hyderabad for the interview, and then he was sitting in the interview panel, and it seems the interviewer was looking at the folder of his certificates and CV and everything. And then he kind of opened the last page in the beginning instead of going through the first. And then he found the Sevadal certificate, Sevadal training. My father had been to 3-day Sevadal training then, and then they gave a certificate of participation. So he saw that and he said, "Oh, Satya Sai organization. Okay. So are you a devotee?" He asked him. And my father said, "Yes, I believe in him and we consider him as God." And oh, okay. So that means you must be having his photo. And then my father always used to carry a photo of Swami in his pocket. So he took the photo and showed. And then the interviewer asked, "Where is the vibhuti?" My father said, "Sir, I had a vibhuti in the morning, but I think probably because of waiting for a few hours, I think it would have just gone." And then this is where my father understood that it's going in the right direction and there is somebody who's a mastermind behind this. And then the interviewer says, "Okay, this part of your life seems interesting, so now let me look at your subject." And then the rest of the interview, because of the confidence that he got, he did extremely well, I suppose, and obviously he got his job. And this was for one of the biggest automobile industries in India, Ashok Leyland. And my father stayed there for about 39 years then. So he even retired today only from Ashok Leyland. So my father still believes, like we all believe obviously, that for 3 days of Sevadal training, and by retaining that safari, he gave 39 years of life later on, and obviously for which we are all thankful to. And at some point of time, we may not know means what is right for us or not right for us, but he knows. He's the mastermind behind it. And later on, when that at the same point of time, actually Swami also opened the university, like Sri Satya Sai College became Satya Sai University, and my father was very eager to join the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. But my grandfather requested, saying that about our financial condition, you already have a diploma, now you go for another bachelor's and master's, it's going to take time for you to earn money and it would be difficult. So he lost in some sense the opportunity to study there, and I think in that way I was fortunate to be a part of Swami's institute. And true to Swami's word, in fact, whenever I got safari from Bhagwan, I used to give it to my father, knowing that he never got what the safari from Bhagwan. So over a period of time, only time, I think, is the witness to what Swami has in mind. Swami has in his plans for all of us. Coming to my mother's side, it is in a way it was a funny story, because my mother's family belonged to Kottacheru. So if you know the geography of Puttaparthi, Kottacheru and Bukkapatnam were around this Bukkapatnam lake. So people used to just walk from Kottacheru to Puttaparthi. It was that close. But my mother's family, I mean the grandfathers, were all belonged to the class of people who didn't want to believe that Swami was God. And initially, at least almost till 80s or 90s, late 90s and even early 2000s, there were a class of people, unless like Swami's mission kept become bigger and bigger, and then is when people realized that, okay, it's not possible for a single man or a single boy to even do these things, that the whole world is coming towards him. But then in the early 60s and 50s, they were not, they used to even make jokes about Swami. So my mother never really could get into the Swami fold till she got married to my father. But then even after that, she knew that my father, my grandfather were all devoted, but somehow she was not for it. In fact, she actually became a devotee only after I joined the Sri Satya Sai Higher Secondary School. And in a way, because when I joined, I felt I was doing a favor to my father. So what happened was, my father was, I have a sister, older sister, and they tried for her to get into Anantapur's women's college, Bhagwan's women's institution, whereas my sister did not get selected, and my father was quite upset that she could not get into the college. So having seen that, after my 10th class, 10th standard, like as though I was doing a favor, my background was I knew that I was told that Swami was God, let me put it that way, through my father. And we used to participate in Bal Vikas. I used to go for bhajans, but I never took music or bhajans or any of those things seriously. And for Tamil Nadu, Sundaram bhajans, the Sundaram is Swami's big ashram in Chennai. Apart from the Samiti, Sundaram is one place where Swami used to come and stay whenever he used to come to Madras, or now called Chennai. And some bhajans were one of the standard bhajans that Swami used to appreciate and like the singers. And everybody who grew up in Tamil Nadu wanted to one day, go to the level of singing in Sundaram so that they could sing in front of Swami. But I still remember that as a child, when I used to sing in Samiti, some elders used to come and say, one day you should become a Sundaram singer. I said, why should I become a Sundaram singer? I don't think I want to sing such places. That was the kind. I just knew that Swami is treated as God because his photo is there in our altar, and Sai Ram is a powerful name. That's it. And nothing more than that. Nothing like having complete faith or praying to him. Whereas in my 8th standard, that was 2007, when Swami came to Chennai for performing Atirudra Mahayajna. So I went and had a few darshans of Bhagwan, and that was the time I felt that during one darshan, I had almost like I sat in a place where I was bang opposite Swami, where Swami was sitting. And time and again, Swami was looking at me, and we had an eye-to-eye contact for a lot of time. And so young I was that I absolutely had no idea of what he was trying to convey or what that even meant. It's not that I fell in love with him or I fell in, I got mesmerized by his form. Probably, I don't know, I was maybe too young to notice that or anything. But somehow these words came out of my mouth that in 10th standard I told my father, I want to go and join Satyasai Higher Secondary School. Would you say okay for that? My father was all the more happy. And I went and wrote my entrance exam, and apparently I was selected. I wanted to get selected to make him happy. It was not that I was really wanting to go to Prashanthi Nilayam, and it was a hostel, and I could not even imagine staying away from my parents, and it was absolutely impossible for me to even think of that. And my mother, even today, she will tell that she was 100% sure that within 1 month of my stay in Prashanthi Nilayam, I'll come back. So I got selected, I joined the higher secondary school, and I was homesick for about 11 months, like literally the whole of my 11th standard. But having said that, every day I used to come back, I'll call up my parents and I'll cry that I'm still finding it difficult here, I'm not able to adjust to this place. Whereas I go to Mandir, see Swami's form, and that was when I started falling in love with his ambience around. Swami will just come, and when he comes, the whole mandir is just charged up, and he just comes and we try to just give a letter or touch his feet. And then there were these Sai bhajans. Once I started listening to Mandir bhajans in my 11th standard, I was like, where were you all? I didn't even listen to these bhajans before. I knew some Sai bhajans as a part of Bal Vikas, but they were sung so well. I could connect. Every bhajan was being different. So that 1 hour used to recharge me, saying, okay, maybe I can go for one more day. And then I'll come back and tell my parents, maybe one more day, a few more days. My parents were really open. My father, in fact, told that one day you stayed in Swami's hostel. I'm happy that even for one day you were a Swami student. It's enough. If you're not feeling comfortable, just leave, we'll go back. But somehow every day bhajans and Swami's darshan kept me. And over a period of time during my 11th standard, I started listening about Swami. So when I was outside, Vibhuti, miracles, materialization, Swami saving somebody, all these things you hear. But when I went to Prashantinilayam is when I started listening to how he lived his life, what he expected out of students, what was the simple life. Because by then I went in the last 2 years of the physical stay, like the 2009 to 11. So I only got to see the grandeur. So Swami used to come in these extremely costly cars, and on an average there used to be at least 10,000 to 20,000 people on a daily basis for darshans. And Swami comes in this majestic form in this wheelchair. Boys used to push Swami during in the wheelchair, and I don't know exactly when it happened, but I slowly started falling in love, wanting to bask in his presence, I didn't want to stay in hostel, but I wanted to be with Swami. That was the kind of feeling. I didn't want, I didn't want to be subjected to the other part of life. Whereas if Swami was there, if I was singing bhajans, I'm happy. So I started intensely praying and practicing that I want to start singing in front of you, Swami. I want to start singing in front of you. And then the senior brothers were extremely helpful in guiding me, because as I said, I never took music lightly. So my voice was extremely raw. Not that now it is better, but yes, it was extremely raw, extremely unpolished. And but I wanted to sing. So how to, make somebody to the level of a Prashanti Nilayam bhajan singer, all these seniors and teachers did help me. That was on one side. And the other side, I saw those chances the singers and boys were getting in Swami's physical presence. They used to get to talk to Swami, they used to get to perform. They had a lot of opportunities. And then that's when I got to know that Swami used to take boys to Kodaikanal or Hadshi or wherever Swami used to go. This bhajan battalion and all these people around Swami used to go with them just to accompany Swami and then be with him. So I started longing for that, and I started wanting that opportunity. And in fact, I was so obsessed with this opportunity of, in typical Sai student language, we call it as a form boy. So a typical Sai student is somebody who gets to interact with Bhagavan on a normal basis, like whenever students have chances. But if Swami takes some special attention towards some students, we used to term that called as a form. So he is in form. So there were these brothers of our senior brothers who used to push Swami's wheelchair. So they used to have access to Swami's apartment and get Swami and almost all the time be physically with Swami. So I wanted to be that. For a very long period of time, I started imagining myself pushing Swami's wheelchair, and at a point of time, it almost became an obsession where I feel Swami wanted me to stop that. So on one night, I had this dream. So in the dream, I was sitting. I don't know, maybe it was Swami's residence, I believe. I was sitting, and Swami was also sitting. So I got up, and then I said, Swami Randi, we have to go for darshan. Sit on the chair, I will take you. So these were my words to Bhagwan. Bhagwan said, why, Swami, if you have to go for darshan, you have to. So the background is, during 2009, when I was a student, Swami, due to his health condition and the hip fractures, Swami had kind of stopped walking. So he used to come only on chair all the time, and everything was made ramps, and small elevators were placed for Bhagwan. So I said, Swami, I want to take you for darshan. You have to go. Devotees are waiting. He said, yes, I will go for darshan. I will go on chair, but you will not push. I said, Swami, why? And then I still remember, very lovingly he came and just put his both palms around my cheeks like this and said, this is not for you, Bangaru. I don't know. After that, I reduced thinking about it. But even today, I feel that is one of the best opportunities to be with Bhagwan. So like that, I started figuring out, okay, who he is, who is he? Started looking at him as from a God who was a photograph in my altar, because my father used to pray or grandfather used to pray. From there to, I think I started becoming a fanboy sort of a thing. So I started looking at him with awe. I wanted more time to be with him. I wanted to do something that would please him. But in all those things, again, Swami used to say this. So he wanted to say that the name is better than the form. So once Swami had given to illustrate this, that Lord's name is better than Lord's form, Swami gave a wonderful analogy. So he said, if you have a mango, the mango is a fruit, and let's say that's your favorite fruit. So when somebody talks about mango, or when you hear the word mango, you will immediately go back to your experience of having had the best mango in your life and things like that. You'll start cherishing, you will start wanting to have that mango and things like that. Whereas when a mango is given to you, you might intermittently be happy, but then you start examining the mango and you want to see, by any chance, is it rotten inside? It looks good out, but what about it? So we get into the details. So this was something very similar that happened to me, because I never put effort to look at him as God or avatar or anything. So I started in my own very, very immature manner. I wanted to see, Swami, are you really God? Why do they all call you God? So I started developing this thought. So on one hand, you want to be close to him, you want to sing for him, you want to, probably I decided that time that, Swami, if possible, I want to live my whole life here, all those sort of things. And on one hand, is he really God? Means what if, all these mind thoughts. And but there was one part of me saying, see this, he is definitely God. Next time he creates a chain, you will definitely see that it's coming out from a thin air and he is doing stuff like that. And Swami is definitely God. All these kinds of fights and full Cold War was happening inside internally. And that point of time, I had not joined the bhajan group yet. So we used to sit on the portico where Swami was sitting, Swami's throne was, and there were a few steps. So I used to place myself on those steps so that I can see Swami like this directly. And if he's going to materialize something, so I can be the direct witness. So imagine someone so insignificant like me is trying to look at the authenticity of him. Means when I look back, it feels very dumb, but then here is where his love comes. So I sat on a particular day, and it was, I think, devotees from a foreign country had come to offer their Partiyatra Prashanti visit, and they did a wonderful program, and Swami was apparently very happy. He went for photographs, he came back, and he called one boy. I think he's a Balvika student. He called that boy, and I was pretty sure that now Swami is going to materialize something. So let me see. I'm just trying to look at this. And so because I was sitting on the stairs, like there were 3 steps. So I was not sitting cross-legged. I was keeping my legs on one side. And exactly at that point of time, somebody, stamped my leg and then moved that side or something like that. So I just turned this side, looked at my leg, and I turned back. Swami had materialized a chain to that boy, and that boy was crying. Swami was also very happy, and they were posing, and I felt defeated. I said, I wanted to test you, Swami, and then you don't allow me to do it. What is this? This is so bad. And I went back that day. And this was still in my 12th class. So I started writing diary, because one of the wing teachers said, see, boys, every moment that you're with Swami has to be cherished. Even if you just had a darshan, go back, write your diary, write your thoughts in that and record them. So I wrote the diary saying, I don't know, Swami, even, I was trying to, pray to Swami saying, I don't know how to tell you this, Swami, but I want to have more faith, but this doubt has come in me. You should only help me out. What can I do? I don't have anybody else. If I go and tell my father that I'm doubting Swami, he will be like, he's already, everybody will look at me and say, is this why you went to Prashantanilayam? You go close to Swami and then you start, having things that I don't have devotion. I'm not able to see him as God and things like that. And then that night I had a dream. And so Swami was sitting in the same portico. I was sitting in the first line in the students' row. And then Swami called me in the dream. and I went towards Swami. I knelt, and then I asked, Swami, chain kavali. And Swami said, Chustava. Means I said, Swami, I want a chain. Swami asks, oh, you want to see? I said, yes, Swami, I want to see how you create. Ela chestunaro chudali, Swami, I said. I want to see how you create. So then Swami has the orange robe, he pulled it back, and then he started materializing. And then a bit of the chain with a pendant came out, and it was hanging. I was so impatient. It feels so odd to say this, but I took his hand and I flipped it. And I wanted to see how is it coming out. So foolish of me. And I started pulling the chain out. And so physically Swami was 84 years old. And then when I pulled it, Swami's reaction was, and I was not for it. I was just not stopping. I made him do it again. Swami, T&D Swami, take it out, Swami, take it out. And then I held his hand, pulled it out. And then Swami asks, Ippudu santoshama? Are you satisfied now? The next morning I got up. I felt so guilty, I was feeling so bad. But then this thought dawned on me. Let's say I said, Swami, I don't believe in you. I'm going back to Chennai. What would have happened to him? Absolutely nothing. It wouldn't have made any difference to his school, his college, his mission. I would have lost everything. What was the reason for him to be able to come to me and say, it's okay, you had a doubt, I will clarify it. Why? Because I love you. That was a pure love. So from who he was as a picture as a photo in my altar, to suddenly somebody who is, breaking into my heart, he started, I started feeling that if there is anybody who knows my innermost thoughts, it's you. In fact, on a later point of time, I realized the brother who was pushing Swami's wheelchair, then brother Harish Krishan, when he was a student, he took the courage to physically tell Bhagwan, Swami, I am not able to see you as God. He told this to Swami in the interview room. And then Swami looked at him. So he told in Telugu, Swami, he didn't know Telugu. So with the broken Telugu, he said, Swami, naku mee paina shraddha le ravatledu, Swami. I'm not able to take you seriously. I'm not able to see you as God. Swami said, Avuna. Then Swami asked him, love unda? So Swami translates to, do you have love? Yes, Swami, I love you. Swami said, love unte chalu. So, means if you have love, it's enough. You don't need to treat me as God. That just changed my whole outlook towards Swami. From nobody, from trying to distance him as a God or as somebody who's staying far away, now I knew that if there was somebody who was so close to me, it has to be him. He has to be my friend. If not him, it cannot be anybody else. And the song beautifully summarizes that. O Nestama, ప్రియమైన బంధమా, ప్రేమకు రూపమా, మాందరి ప్రాణమా, ఓ నేస్తమా, గడిచే ప్రతి క్షణం నీతోనే గడపాలని నేను వినే పదాలన్నీ నీ మాటలే కావాలని, నాలోని తలపులన్నీ నీకు వివరించాలని, క్రియలన్నీ కర్తకే అంకితం చేయాలని, వేచి ఉన్నాము ఆ రోజుకై, గడిచే ప్రతి క్షణం నీతోనే గడపాలని. Every moment that ticks from now on, I just want to spend with you, Swami. నేను వినే పదాలన్నీ నీ మాటలే కావాలని. All that I hear has to be your words. నాలోని తలపులన్నీ నీకు వివరించాలని. All the thoughts that I get, I want to explain to you. Like Shilpa auntie was saying, even my bad thoughts, all my wild thoughts or anything that I get, I just want to offer it to you and tell you this is what is happening. క్రియలన్నీ కర్తకే అంకితం చేయాలని. All my actions, actually you are the doer, Swami, and I want to offer all my actions to you, and I'm waiting for that particular day when I can actually do it. It's so easy to say, but then that was when I started seeing Swami as my most beloved friend, and then my way of approach, my approach to going for darshan, being with him, started changing. One of our faculty members at the high school, during one of our classes, human values class, he said, see boys, we don't know when Bhagwan would give us a chance. When you will get an opportunity, you absolutely have no idea. So always be ready. So when you go to, so whenever, being students, we used to get by default 2 opportunities to go near Swami. One was to offer Aarti, or we go and give rose to Swami. So sir was saying that when you do that, you go with the best of your white dresses, right? But on the other days, you go in your normal white dress. Why? You think that Swami is not going to call you? But have faith that any day he's going to call you. Be ready for that. So I had this in mind, and I started keeping a set of white clothes only for darshans and a set of white clothes for normal school going or later on in the college and things like that. And by Swami's grace, very beginning in my 12th standard, in July 2010, I got an opportunity to ask Swami if I could sing in Mandir, and Swami gave me an opportunity to start singing in Mandir. And so in my 12th class itself, I started being part of the bhajan group. So we used to sit with the bhajan group, but one day I got very late in bhajan in my school because we were doing a project. So I got late, and I could not sit with the bhajan group, so I was sitting in the behind, and Swami's health started slowly deteriorating, and so Swami was coming mostly by car. He was to come give darshans also. He used to all the time be seated in car, give darshan and go back in car. So he was not coming out of the car. On that particular day when I was late, Swami happened to come by car. But he came out in like from the car, and he sat outside. So they decided to give prasadam because there were a lot of devotees seated that day. And since I was late, I was sitting behind. But because of this 2 dress philosophy, my mandir clothes were perfectly white always. Because generally when we start wearing white dress every day, because of water and washing and chloride, they used to get an yellow tinge. But because I was keeping it separately, I looked really wearing special white. So this brother who was in charge came to me and said, see, there is nobody going for prasadam. Can you come and offer prasadam to Swami? So I was able to go, and then I got an opportunity when I actually felt that I could have sat in bhajan group and sung a bhajan. Today I'm simply sitting behind. Swami decided to call me and acknowledge that be ever ready. You don't know when I will get an opportunity. And that was in 2010-11. And 2011, obviously, April 24th, Swami physically left us and attained Mahasamadhi. During my post-graduation, that is my master's during the year 2014-15, even that time I was following this of wearing separate clothes for mandir, and I used to every day go to mandir irrespective of whether our bhajans were there or no. And I sat behind, and there were a group of devotees, Partiyatra from a particular state, and they were supposed to offer bhajans. And they started singing bhajans, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, they were not able to sing somewhere up to the mark. They were having a less number of singers, I believe. So, Papam, they were not able to offer their best that day. And I was sitting somewhere behind, and one of the senior most trust members looks at me and says, "Can you sing? Can you come over?" Then exactly next to me, there was a harmonium player, there was a tabla player, and another singer. We were just sitting as a group somewhere behind, not having any idea that we were sitting as a bhajan group. And then when he looked at us, we just went on, and then we could sing the bhajan. And this would generally not happen, because generally all the devotees come really planned. That day, just maybe he wanted to show that, I may not need to be physically present to show you that if you are ready, I am there to give you the opportunity. You just have to be ever ready. So this was one lesson that I learned, that always be ready. Anytime Swami might give us an opportunity, and we have to just grab it in order to, show our love towards him. And during the 11th standard, when obviously I was very homesick, so I tried to write letters to Swami every day. And it was almost becoming a fight, because so all the discipline, devotion, dedication used to be followed. We used to come in lines till we enter the ashram. Once we enter the ashram, each one of us wanted to sit in the first line so that we get close to Bhagwan. So we used to start running or sometimes fighting, and it used to be utter chaos. And I started having a lot of fights with my batchmates, and somehow just to give a letter to Swami. So the destination was good, but the means were somewhere not being proper. Swami would not expect us to do that. But all that we were trying to do was, okay, will I get an opportunity to sit close? And after maybe a couple of months, I used to try giving letters and take Pad Namaskar, but some of my friends were not happy with that, and they started complaining that this boy is overreacting, he's doing so much, and I felt extremely bad about that. And when you are outside your comfort zone, like when I came and I was missing my family and everything, I was probably not privy to the thought that what am I causing to others because of the feeling that I have. So then I decided, Swami, I'm not going to give you physically any letters. And then I had a photograph in my cupboard. So every day, whatever problem I had, I used to write it in a sheet of paper, half a sheet of paper, whatever, and then put it behind the photo, and I stopped looking for a first line. I stopped fighting for a first line. And also the scheme also changed, that they started, instead of making us run for the first line, the teacher intervened and said, this is completely indisciplined. Swami would not expect this from all of you. So he started making it even, saying every room, we had hostel dorms. So every room in the dorm will get one, the members of that will get to sit on the first line every day. And you take turns, however that happens. So that became a philosophy. So when I get an opportunity, I give a letter, but otherwise no, I used to not give. And because of that promise that I had, I used to only keep giving it in my altar, in my photograph altar. I used to keep the letters to Bhagwan. And it was the end of 11th standard, and I was about to go home, and on the last day, I saw that there were about 200 odd letters. I thought, let me try this. I put all those letters into one cover, and I thought, let's see if I can give Swami, will he take these? So I went to Mandir. There were a lot of boys who were going, obviously all the boys were going home. That was the last day. So everyone wanted to give letter to Swami. And we were sitting so close, but that day, maybe Swami was in this apparent Zen mode. So he was radiantly smiling, looking at all of us, but he was just not taking letters. Just not taking letters. So boys were stretching, just some boys out of desperation, because Swami was coming on chair, they used to place the letter on Swami's lap, because the prayers used to be, Swami, if you take letter, I will do X. It was like the S and no chit. Swami, if you take a letter, I will do this. If you don't take a letter, I will not do this. So the students are sometimes very desperate to give Swami the letter. So if Swami is sitting with a hand on his armrest, they used to try poking the letters in between like this and things like that. But the brothers behind used to sometimes observe, and if Swami did not take a letter, and if a student puts, they very kindly take it and give it back and say, brother, please give if Swami takes. So I decided that, yeah, anyway, Swami is not going to take today. So I kept it, I didn't even keep it ahead. I was keeping it with me. And Swami nicely came. He didn't even look at me. He was looking elsewhere. But he put his hand and took that whole cover, which had about 200 letters. And then from then on, it's a practice to me that it was just a reassurance, I guess, for me that you write. That's what is important for me. It's already going to me. You write. And he wanted to maybe show. So from then on, even till today, even just before the talk, I wanted to, pray to Swami and tell him something. So I just wrote a letter. So this is one way that I completely try to see if I can connect to Swami, because as Swami himself explained that when you write a letter to me, it is thought, word and deed. The purification of thought, word and deed. You're thinking as though you're talking to me, and your thought, your word, your writing, obviously your words are coming, and your deed is you're also putting into action what you want to tell me. So all these three things are united, and obviously the prayer has reached me. So don't worry about it. So that is one more experience that I had during my school days, which I even till today follow. And there was this phase, as I told you, after Swami came in the dream, after the chain, I wanted to be with Swami more. I wanted to do anything that would please him. But we have our own mistakes back. Like we generally come from the philosophy of Daiva Bhiti Papa Priti. Daiva Bhiti means fear of God. Papa Priti means love for sins or love for mistakes, as we call it. Whereas Swami will want us to have Daiva Priti, Papa Bhiti, Sangha Niti. Daiva Priti is love for God, fear of sin, which will result in morality in society. So somehow Swami helped me to develop maybe a fraction of love for God, Daiva Priti, but Papa Bhiti is not easy. Like we at least I feel I have a lot of baggage of my own sanskaras or vasanas. It takes a lot of time. This beautiful alap in Hindi that says, Har pal har kshan bhool kare hum, pag pag thokar khaye, ek pag aage दो पग पीछे साईं, तुम तक कैसे आए, करुणा सागर परम कृपालु साईं. So Ik pag aage, Swami, by the time we think we have taken one step towards you, because of our, qualities or other things, we take two steps backward, do pag piche. If this is the trend that we are following, tum tak kaise aaye? How do we even come towards you, Swami? Please take care. And then this bhajan gives a beautiful solution for that. Bhakta vatsal tero naam O Sai, Dukha Bhanjan Tero Naam, ओ साई तुम संग बांधी प्रेम की डोरी, तुम संग बांधी प्रेम की डोरी. Swami, you have connected us through the thread of love, and this is the solution to that. As Swami says, we may just love towards, like Swami even says, the Daiva Preeti is capable of bringing Papa Bhiti. It's just that we should intensify our love towards him. Not easy, at least not for me. But yes, at least keep yearning, keep looking for in whichever way we can love him more and more. So this was something that happened in my 12th standard, that Swami started physically not coming often for darshans. He used to, in our language, miss darshans, but Swami's health was really deteriorating. But somehow we were not prepared to accept that Swami would not be there. Like, it's just like Swami is just trying to, put his body through this turmoil for whatever reason, because we know that Swami used to take the pains of other people, like the problems of others, into himself. If the devotee cries out loud, he says, that's your only strength and my only weakness. So if someone prays so much, he takes it upon himself. So we all were feeling that Swami is just taking on himself, but we were not sure. But then that was the time Swami started coming very, very often in my dreams. So much so that we started having conversations. It used to be like, if I had a fight with my friend and then I slept that day, Swami used to give me a solution or come and scold me saying, why did you do this, sort of a thing. It was that kind of a guidance that I was getting, which I didn't understand that it was the value of it then. I thought, I love you and I deserve you ought to do this for me, Swami, because I love you, right? But I was not taking that seriously, perhaps. And in fact, during one of my exams, there were 10 days of holidays, and I was wasting my time during my 12th standard board exam. But the previous exam, I didn't do well. I didn't do so well. I didn't prepare well. So the day before exam, it was my afternoon nap. Swami came in my dream, and apparently he was having mark sheets of everybody, and all of us were going to receive marks from Swami. This was happening in the dream. To everybody, Swami was reading out the marks and giving the answer sheet, but when it came to me, he looked at me, he looked at the answer sheet and said, if the first few days you read theory and then you worked on past question papers, you would not have had these marks. And then I got up from sleep. So Swami was doing that native philosophy, not this sort of a thing, I guess. And then I stopped wasting time. I said, okay, first few days I'm going to focus on theory, and the last few days I'll focus on just solving the past year's question papers. I did that. The day before exam, again Swami came in my dream and said, I know you prepared well, all the best. So this was the kind of attention Swami was giving me through my dreams then, and I was not aware of. In fact, I will reserve it for some other session, but on 23rd of April 2011, I got some indication from Swami through a dream that on 24th something like that would happen. But I was not ready to accept it, and I get up from sleep, and then I got to know that Swami was no more, and physically Swami was not there. And that day was sort of the last that I had dreams for a very long time. So I was not having dreams at all. So there was no way. So I really missed him, because physically, if he was not coming for darshan, he was anyway coming in my dreams. So I still didn't miss him so much. Whereas no physical darshan, no dreams, I literally started looking for, where are you, Swami? What is this happening? And that is when I went to the Brindavan campus as a student, and Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam. So the Satsang the I'm sure my batchmate Sai Shivakumar would say that the kind of satsangs we had in Vrindavan, the way teachers spent time just talking about Swami, made at least me feel so much lighter, make this relation that I started building with him a little more stronger. So now the question was, he showed me his love, he showed me what he's capable of doing, he showed me how much love he can shower on me. Now it was up to me to show him, what can I do? I do have flaws, I do have a lot of things, and this happens to be the story of every devotee who comes to Swami's field, that Swami sort of accepts them for who they are. Whoever they are, they come into Swami, they just experience love. He gives them unconditional love, not saying that, you did this, so you're bad, you did this, you're good. No, everybody is equal to Swami. And then, through his love, starts asking us, okay, what are you going to do for me? Let me just perhaps end with one last incident. It was in my 12th class again, and as Swami's high school students in 12th standard, we had this opportunity to show our projects. Again, it looks very funny right now because 12th standard projects are actually nothing. They are some basic stuff you just do, and then you want to go and show it to Swami that, Swami, I have spent months together doing this project, and then showing him pages, and he gives all the attention as though, oh really, you have done this project, wonderful. And then he gives a photograph and he gives a few vibhuti packets and says all the best. So essentially it started with the computer science group. So computer science students and bioscience students used to go and do it. Whereas when we were in 12th, I felt a little rebellious, and I went to the warden and said, sir, I am neither a computer science nor am I a bioscience student. I am a Sanskrit student. I am like a math, physics, chemistry, Sanskrit and English. Which project do I show? Sir, this is unfair to all of us. All 12th class should get. And then apparently sir thought for a while and said, okay, do you have any other project, physics or chemistry? Yes, sir. Chemistry we have done. Okay, go and show your chemistry project to Swami. But these will not be the guys who also have bioscience and computer science. It will be only exclusively chemistry who don't have bioscience or computer science. Agreed. So the date was fixed. And as I told you, Swami was coming to darshan rarely. And also Swami used to sometimes come extremely late, like around, sometimes he came at 9 o'clock at night for darshan. So that particular day was the day where chemistry boys were assigned, okay, take your projects to Swami. So the previous day Swami had come, February 2011, Swami had come the previous day. He looked at computer science projects, he blessed them. So I took my project, I was going to Mandir, but then this great mind of mine, the bulb blew and said, you know what, yesterday Swami came, which means today Swami is not going to come. And even if he comes, yesterday only he called a bunch of 15 to 20 students. Don't think today he's going to call. So let me make my project look better and take it tomorrow. And in all my intelligence, I went back to the hostel, placed the project back in my folder and went back to Mandir. Look at how I am able to predict Swami. So that was my enlightenment that I had gotten. And the first shock was Swami came that day. The second shock was Swami called the boys for project blessings. I was broken. I was extremely broken. I felt so bad. I started blaming myself. I said, I don't know what all sins you have got culminated in your past births. It's like you have success in the last step and there you fell. That's the kind of creature you are. All these sort of, self-humiliation and things like that. And in one way feeling bad as to, Swami, why did you do this to me? See, the thing is, luckily in friendship, this thing happens that whether you feel good or whether you feel bad or you feel angry, you can direct it to him. I'm not sure if any other form of God would accept us being so rude to him. I was feeling so bad. And I was anyway sitting in bhajan group, and then my turn to sing came. I was not even opening eyes. I was just closing my eyes, and I said, I'm not going to look at you, Swami. I will not be able to look at my batchmates going and getting photographs with you, vibhuti from you, when I was the one who arranged their coming to Mandir. Look at the kind of thoughts that I had. I felt so bad, and then my turn to sing had come, and then I closed my eyes. I sang this bhajan, Sai Hamara Hum Sai Ke. I felt I poured out my agony through that bhajan. I came back, and one student, one of my batchmates, he got his project blessed. He came to me and said, Anant, you're blessed. I said, see, this is not the time to joke. I am already feeling bad. Let's discuss some other time. I'm very happy that you got yourself blessed. And he saw that I was feeling bad. He tried to explain, but I didn't want to listen. I left. There was another very close friend of mine. He came with his vibhuti packet, telling Swami gave me this vibhuti, please take. I took it, and then he, very close friend of me, also said, Anant, you are really blessed. I said, his name was also Shiva. I said, Shiva, this is not the time, and I don't expect you to make fun of me like this. And then he said, no, Anant, let me tell you what happened. So he was showing his project to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan was going through every page. And then it seems my bhajan started. And then Swami, who was looking at his project, kind of signaled him to move. And throughout the bhajan, Swami apparently was looking at me while I was cursing myself and not even looking at him to know that he was looking at me all the time. And I sang this bhajan, and Swami was apparently following the bhajan. Like when you sing the first bhajan, first line, he sings the second line, right? Like Swami says this, right? Look up to me, I look up to you. I look into you. Meaning, when you look up is when you know that he's already looking at you. When you don't see him, how do you know that he's seeing you? So, but somewhere I still felt I didn't have this project blessed. Period. And to add it all, 2011, April 24th, Swami left. And after that, I got chances, I got immense opportunities. All that I prayed for, looking at these boys, looking at the seniors, I got. But somewhere still a feeling that as to Swami, when can I experience you? When can I, how can I see you? I'm able to see the chair, but how do I feel for you? Every time, wish you were physically there when I'm singing this for you, Swami. All these feelings kept being there for the rest of my stay in Prashanti Nilayam. Though most of my friends had left, and then I had a different career, like choosing BSc, MSc, and PhD, and so on. And every opportunity, like everything that I prayed for, Swami gave me. For instance, I should say, like during the COVID pandemic, I also went home because in Prashanti Nilayam, not everybody were able to stay. But then I came back in I went back to Prashanti Nilayam in 2020, October. And from then till almost March 22nd, March 2022, I mean, the connection, the bhajans became like an integral part of us, apparently because bhajans and Vedam were the only things that happened. Whether COVID, whether no COVID, whether intense COVID or anything. Can I take 5 more minutes? Is that okay?
Absolutely, brother. Take as much time as you need.
So, the whole, it was like in temples like Tirumala and everywhere, they call it Ekanta Seva. So something like that used to happen because we were literally 6 of us in the whole of Kulwant Hall. 4 singers, 1 harmonium player, 1 tabla player. And whole Kulwant Hall, we were the 6 who sat in front of Bhagwan and sang bhajans for 45 minutes, half an hour. And what more would any singer or anybody expect, right? And sometimes at one point of time, we felt the responsibility, as a bhajan group, we felt the responsibility of representing the whole world, staying there saying, Swami, no, everybody wants to come to you and then offer prayers. However, you have given us the opportunity, so let us try to even give their prayers through us. that was the kind of feeling we had, and the best of times. But somewhere this feeling as to, Swami, if physically you were there, things would have been different. Maybe I'm yet to evolve to a position to actually see where he is, right? So the end of my PhD came. I was wanting to continue in Prashanti Nilayam as an assistant professor. So I had not even thought about leaving Prashanti Nilayam. It was already 13 years. So the first time I wanted to leave Swami's office was, institutions was after my graduation and after my master's. So I didn't apply for PhD. I didn't apply for anything. I went home. I was there for a couple of months. I had, Shiva would be knowing this, Shiva applied for PhD in multiple universities in USA and so on. He wrote GRE TOEFL. I was so lazy to write GRE TOEFL. I was applying everywhere in the Europe, but I wanted to leave. I said, Swami, I'm not able to find you or whatever. I don't want to be here anymore, Swami. I want to leave Prashanti Nilayam. I want to leave. And I left. And everywhere I applied for my PhD, I got rejected. I'm not a bad student. I don't claim I am a great student, but I'm not a bad student. So nobody would reject me so easily is what I thought. And then I was getting rejections after rejections, rejections after rejections. And it was 3 months already, and I was having no clue what I would do. And that day, there was Swami's picture in my house in Chennai, and I looked at Swami's photo and said, Swami, if all that you want is me coming back to Parthi, I'm in for it. I'll come. This is what I said. I said this, and my father, out of all, gets a call from Brindavan campus saying there is a vacancy for a lecturer position in Brindavan, and they got to know that I had not joined elsewhere, so they wanted to ask me if I wanted to join. Now that's when I realized that if he has decided that you cannot leave without his permission, you cannot leave. So I went back, and my second innings had started. So from 2016 to 2022 was like my second innings, and I was a staff then. Like previously I was just a student, and now I had Swami students to take care of. And during my PhD, Swami's grace, everything went on well. A lot of students, it was amazing to be a part of the staff fraternity or a faculty fraternity. And at the end of my PhD, when I was about to become a full-time like assistant professor, I wanted to submit my thesis. It was on November 10th, 2021, and I wanted to submit on November 11th, 2021. So on 10th, I went to Mandir. I wanted to place my thesis at Swami's lotus feet and then take blessings. At least PhD was not like the 12th class project. At least 5 years I had worked on something. And since it was still the second wave of COVID had just stopped, but Omicron was taking over. So again, darshans were very, very, like it was not planned. Suddenly they would say nobody was allowed to enter Prashanti Nilayam and things like that, because the spread was faster inside the ashram and a lot of senior devotees were there. So I knew that nobody used to go and touch Swami's Mahasamadhi or go even near it. But I knew that inside Bhajan Hall there is Swami's throne, and if we can request that person, because every day we used to go to Mandir for fixing bhajans and singing there, the person kind of knew me. At least he can look at my face and say, okay, he's been here for a while now. So I thought I will ask him and request him if I can, show it to Bhagwan at the Bhajan Hall. And he said, no, you cannot go to Swami's throne and show it or anything. I will place it at Swami's throne and then give it back to you, he said. I said, okay. And there was also one of my friend. So both of us were submitting the thesis on the same day. And then then he said, Anant, can we take our thesis and go outside in the Kulwant Hall towards Mahasamadhi? I said, see, his name was Aditya. I said, see, Aditya, it's not going to happen. I don't think they will even allow us to go near Swami's Sannidhi. But he said, see, Anant, I'm okay to just hold the thesis like this and walk in front of Swami's Sannidhi. It's like me showing it, he said. I said, well, let's do that. And both of us walked, and the in charge there, whom I have never spoken with, I have never spoken to him. He came. This was an in charge who was the overall lines in charge, and he's under tremendous pressure because you have to give the second arti and everything. He looked at both of us. What, PhD is over? I said, yes, sir, we are submitting the thesis. And then all of a sudden, he told us, please wait. And then I told Aditya, I think he's going to take us to Bhajan Hall again. Can I go and tell him that we already kept the thesis on Swami's throne in Bhajan Hall? Let's go back. He said, if we are getting a second time, it's okay. But then to our surprise, here he was, after all the lines stopped, before the second arti, he opened the barricades in front of Swami's Sannidhi, the main throne in Sai Kulwant Hall, and he said, now go and show your thesis. 2011, February, I was not able to show my project to Bhagwan, and 10 years later, suddenly, I am sitting in front of his throne. Physically, he may not be there, but I'm showing my thesis. After showing a few pages is when it struck me that, that was your prayer on what is happening now. And that just shook me completely. And after that, the person whom I never spoken to, he started telling, you should go out, and you may not be physically close to Swami, but when you go out, keep Swami in your mind, have Swami's thoughts. I never expected him to speak anything. He's, at the look of it, he's a very stern person because he has to deal with crowds. So, and he's coming and advising, and I was like, I'm going to join here. Oh, why are you talking to me about going out and living a Swami-filled life? But then in a couple of months, it happened that I moved outside Prashanthi Nilayam, and I came to the US for my postdoc. And here is where I completely related to what Shilpa auntie said, that over a period of time, sometime you get into a extremely comfort zone. And I knew that when the opportunities came my way for postdoc, it was definitely Swami's will, because when I applied for PhD, nothing came. When I applied for postdoc as a time pass, just in case, believe me or no, wherever I applied, I got selected. So now I had to make a choice. So it had become apparent that I had to leave, and as Swami says, if the time comes for you to leave, nothing can stop you. So I left, and for reasons that Swami knows better, I'm in New Orleans, where typically there is no big Sai center or a Swami's Samiti or exposure to Swami's devotees on a regular basis. And it was only on the 26th of March, after 7 months of me staying in this place, that I attended my first bhajan session. After singing 3 bhajans in the divine, close to something like 3 to 4 bhajans every day in Prashanthi Nilayam, I come to a place where I'm not even able to tell Sairam to someone. I have to tell myself. And for sure, there are lessons, there are a lot of things that I learned about myself, self-introspection, because I stay alone, I stay by myself. But after a certain point of time is when I'm extremely grateful to Brother Sai Shivakumar. He gave me the contact of the Sai Center in charges, Lakshmi Auntie, Karthik, and I got a second family, Sai family here. I can absolutely not put into words how grateful I am to just be talking about Swami, to just forget whether I add anything to this session, did I really speak some sense? I have no idea. All that I knew was, last few days, I was focused on all the experiences that I got. I was thinking about Swami, and today I got an opportunity to talk about Swami. All that mattered was just this, because I don't think we can ever be able to talk about Swami. You tell he's Shiva, Swami has proven himself like Lord Shiva, Lord Rama, so many, you take a name of a god, and Swami, I have an experience to say that I heard from someone that says that, Swami is so and so, Swami is so and so. So, but it seems Swami has said that when a very senior devotee asked him, Swami, who are you really? All these gods, are you beyond all of them? And then Swami said, see Ram, all of the, like, and it was a very private conversation. So Swami said, it's like all of these gods are assigned specific roles and assignments, and I kind of oversee them. Swami says, I oversee those. So if there is any problem, it goes to somebody. So it's very well delegated to all these. Whereas three of the prayers from devotees directly come to me. And Swami says, if there is a prayer that has selfless love, if it's a prayer that has selfless service, and if it's a prayer, it is selflessly prayed for the welfare of others or for other being, it directly goes to Swami, whereas others might go through, the sub branches. Like, we don't directly, if you have a problem, we don't call the Prime Minister or the President to say that I have a problem, right? Something like that. So Swami is definitely the supreme Godhead. However, that he has allowed us to have this wonderful relationship with him. But perhaps he's expecting something more from us. I don't know. Because there was this faculty member, Sanjay Mahalingam, during the 2009, during the years 2008-9, one day Swami seemed apparently very, very upset. So Swami came, so this person had a little liberty to ask, Swami, what happened? And then it seems Swami said, I don't know what devotees find in me that is not there in them. All these years I have been trying to tell them the same thing. So, according to me, I think Swami was trying to say that, yeah, we can look for him within and, try to find him, he being the source from inside. But somehow, the experiences that we have had with physical Swami say, those are amazing. Those are really nice. Those are so loving. So in this journey, I'm not sure where I stand. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. But then, yes, it is through this bond of love, trying to live a life where just I want to show this, express my gratitude for all that Swami has done to me through every action. And as Auntie was also mentioning, just try to give Swami all the bad qualities or the bad thoughts that we get, so that I can sanctify my life and perhaps achieve what Swami really wants me to. So I think I just want to end with one song. It's a Telugu song, Madhura Mohana Ghanashyama, one of the songs that Swami also used to really like boys singing for him. తల్లి తండ్రి గురువు దైవము బంధువు నీవే సఖుడవెల్ల నీవే స్వామి నీ పదాబ్జములను నిత్యము కొలుతుము పదాబ్జములను నిత్యము కొలుతుము. సాయి రామా నీవే శరణు మాకు. సాయి రామా నీవే శరణు మాకు. ఆ మధురమోహన ఘన శ్యామ సుందర స్వామి ఆనంద ప్రదాయి నాందాల రాసిబోయి నీవే నా మాత పితా భ్రాతవే సదా. సఖుడవు గురుదైవము మరి అంతా నీవేగా. నీదే తనువు నీదే మనసు అంతా నీవేగా. అణువణువున కణకణమున నిండియున్న సదయ హృదయ మధుర మోహన ఘన శ్యామ సుందర స్వామి ఆనంద ప్రదాయి మాందాల రాసివోయ్. ఆ So one of the faculty members' father, his name is Mallikeshwaran sir. So when Mallikeshwaran sir was a student, sir had written a letter to Swami that sir's father was a very huge chain smoker. So sir had written to Bhagwan that Swami he's like smoking like literally 50 to 100 cigarettes a day sometimes. Only you have to take care of it, Swami. And then Swami saw the letter and Swami was extremely upset seemingly. And sir was also feeling, did I do anything wrong by complaining about my father and so on. And then next time sir's father came to Prashanthi Nilayam, he was standing in line where parents were, not Prashanthi Nilayam, this was in Brindavan, sorry. And it was in the 70s, so there was little more access to Bhagwan. And then he was standing in line and Mallikeshwaran sir didn't want to stand next to the father, so he stood a little far away. Swami came from very far, so they were Tamilians, so Swami spoke to them in Tamil. From very far Swami was coming. Swami looked at him and, Enna, means what? Said, Swami, I just felt the urge to come and see you, Swami, so I came, he said. And then Swami, so sir wrote only about the smoking, whereas Swami told him, if you're not going to stop smoking, if you're not going to stop playing cards, if you're not going to stop going for racing, then Swami said, I will not see you, not allow you to see me. Swami told all this in Tamil. Now, enna paaka maten, enna paaka vida maten. I will not speak to you, I will not allow you to speak with me. Now, unkita pesa maten, unna enkita pesa vida maten. And the third one is the icing on the cake. Swami says, innu enna, I will not even allow you to think of me. Onna enna nenachu kuda paaka vida maten. So that makes it completely, you know, revealing. Like Swami, in a very small incident, reveals that if I can stop you even from thinking about me. Which brings me to the thing that today, if we are all gathered here and we are all able to think about Swami and talk about Swami, it's nothing else but Swami's will and Swami's grace and immense blessings on all of us. Again, extreme gratitude to the organizers, extreme gratitude to all of you for being here and giving me an opportunity to talk. An extreme gratitude to Bhagwan for helping me through. And Jai Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sai Ram, that was a very wonderful experience sharing, brother. Thank you so much. We'd like to open up the floor for a question and answer session. I see Shilpanti had her mic unmuted. Sai Ram, Shilpanti.
Oh gosh, you have really, really, really touched our hearts, our soul, Anand. I cannot tell you how wonderful blessing it is for all of us. And I need to have your email. I'm also a neuroscientist. I need to talk to you.
Sure.
I could use your help. But your experiences have been so revealing and coming straight from the heart. And it is really an inspiration for all of us to get on and have Swami in our heart, thought, and mind all the time. Your singing is beautiful. I mean, you touch the chords of our heart, thanks to however the introduction was made by Karthik and you, that please attend our Sai Sunday and Thursday bhajans. We will be very, very blessed. And this is, I think, an indirect ways Swami has blessed this science center of Kansas City. So I am truly grateful to you, and I bow down to you. I'm really grateful.
Thank you very much.
I'm blessed.
It's the blessing and the pleasure is mine, Auntie. I never knew that not having to speak about Swami is that difficult. Yeah. Thank you.
It flew very naturally. You really spoke from the heart. Many things we learned, and we are very happy today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shilpanti. Let's see, Sai Shivakumar.
The moment you called me, Anand is already laughing at. Well, well, it was pleasure to listen to Anand and some of his experience I haven't heard before, so it was very heart touching, and he also took me through the journey where I started at Brindavan with my bachelor. So it almost it's a similar experience where when you first come to Swami's fold, it's a huge challenge to get accustomed to that kind of a culture. I still remember when I first came to Brindavan, the first day after orientation, everybody was I joined in a biosciences program there in Brindavan first, and everybody talks Sairam, say Sairam. The first day was all spirituality. There was absolutely no science or no bioscience. It's like, what am I doing here, right? And then I wanted to go, but then I never got a chance to quit the university. So so one of the things is when Swami wants us, like the fact that we are all here in today's session, that is his will.
Definitely.
Without his will, like no one is going to be here today. And as well, and one of Anand's talk was, he was talking to Swami's picture at the altar that Swami, if you want me, I can always come back and then continue PhD or become an assistant professor. Anand has never thought about it, so it's a testimony that Swami is listening to our prayers. So we just need to have faith in him, and he will take care of all of us.
Definitely.
Thank you, Anand, for the wonderful satsang.
Thank you so much, Shiva. So I was never good at sports, so it was Shiva who taught me volleyball, and then though I got into the team in my third UG through the help of Shiva. So yeah, we had multiple. We also worked together in the audio team, and then so the journey with Shiva is a pretty long one. Yeah, Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiva.
And I think one more thing I'll add is, as we were talking, I took the lesson that we should write our problems to Swami and put it on the altar. And I actually did it while we were talking. So I will always be keeping that in the back of my mind. This is our way of talking to him, taking him with us, and shedding all our problems on his altar.
Sure, Auntie. Yes.
Wow, that was wonderful. Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to unmute. Let's see. Sastri Uncle, is there anything you would like to say? Sai Rama. If
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you now, Sastri Uncle. Sai Rama.
Sai Rama, uncle.
Where are you speaking from? From New Orleans?
Yeah, yes, Uncle. I am currently in New Orleans. Yes.
Where is your Ardhangi?
I don't have one yet.
Suppose I say,
Ah,
Swami is your Ardhangi.
yes, Uncle. I get that.
How would you consider Swami then with that kind of a relationship? Granted to you. Suppose, you have talked about so many ways in which Swami tried to interact with you as mother, father, friend, volleyball player. But I have given you an opportunity to think that he allowed you to consider him as an Ardhangi. And he might even have given you, and as an example, that if he is Shiva, and then he has given you Parvati. If he is Shankara, he has given you Sati. If he is Rama, he has given you Sita. If he has, you consider him as Krishna, he has given you Radha. If you are a teacher, he has given you as a student. If you are considered as a student, he has given you as a teacher. Now, in all these options given to you, when I say you, I mean I mean all the people who are listening now and all the humanity, each one is given this option. And the question is, or the most important question is, can we consider him as ours or as mine? Can we consider him, can we consider all of us or me as his or him? So that is the essence of inquiry. And that is what for 86 years he has been drilling into the minds of people with the fond hope. Mark these words. God with a fond hope that the man will change. But if you listen to any discourse, if you listen to anything that he has ever written or spoken, he always comes out with an accusative finger at man. And in English word but, or in Telugu word kani, which means that we have so many desires placed at his feet, and he has only one desire placed at our feet. While we are anticipating and expecting a generous return for what we have placed at his feet, we not even dream of giving him one that he desires. And therefore, a perennial deficiency resides with man. And therefore, an interesting question would be to ponder over, to inquire, is those who claim devotion, those who say that we are devotees, maybe a better way to reform and please Swami is to constantly keep questioning our devotion. Am I a devotee? Can I claim to be a devotee? And that is exactly what the example of Hanuman informs us. And that is why he is the closest in every which way to the Lord, because he is no different from Rama. That is how he demonstrated to the world and remains an example par excellence for true devotion. And therefore, our aim should be to emulate Hanuman, who emulate such personalities, constantly ruminating upon if there is any one desire, it should be the desire to be like Hanuman. And such power is given to Hanuman is because of he never thought anything about anything except to say, I am your dasa. And that kind of, since you have been given an opportunity with a nice voice to sing the glory of the Lord, I would request you to get a real life Ardhangi soon and become a pair with the spirit of Krishna and Radha permeating your souls in order to spread the word and the glory of Sri Satya Sai Baba. That is my wish. That is my blessing, not because of any of talent on my side, except age. And therefore, may God bless you. Sai Rama.
Sai Ram, uncle. Thank you very much for your words. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sastri Uncle. If no one else has any other questions on Sairam, I'll be sharing my screen again. 1 second. Sairam, Brother Anant, on behalf of the Kansas Sai Center, we'd like to thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity and for the wonderful songs that you have rendered. It's truly.
By the way, if I can have 1 second.
Sure.
Anant, I informed your Prasad
Uncle.
About the contact we have made.
Okay, uncle.
And he was ecstatic about that news.
Yes, uncle. Yes.
As you know, he was my student, and
I didn't get a chance to talk to Prasad Mama, but when I informed Jairam Mama, he was super happy. He was so very happy.
yeah, the same reaction from Prasad. He said that he was so happy that we could connect, and so this is a overall family connection.
Definitely, uncle. Definitely, and
So
yeah.
God bless you, and
Thank you, uncle.
do well in your pursuit of scientific activities, because the constant argument or conversation piece between Swami and myself is that me telling him that science will find out who you are, and he would say that no, definitely that will be the case, but then the science has to be a benign science, not a destructive science.
Mhm.
And how true it is. And that is one of the aspects of my meditations written in that book.
Sure, uncle. Sure. I'm eagerly looking forward to read that book. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, read and then tell me what you think about it. And
Oh, that's blessing, uncle. Blessing. Yeah. Sure.
good.
Good. Thank you, uncle.
Thank you so much, Sastri Uncle. So, Brother Anant, on behalf of the Kansas Sai Center, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing such divine glimpses of Swami's divinity and for the wonderful musical presentation as well. It's truly a blessing to have you, and we look forward to more satsangs with you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Sairam. Now we'll be moving. I will be moving on to Mahamrityunjay Mantram 3 times, followed by Harati in the Vibhuti prayer.
So if anyone has any questions, one last chance. If anyone wants to have any concerns or questions, you can always chip in. Please feel free. If not, we'll conclude the bhajans with
One little thing is if we can get connected to people via email, Lakshmi,
sure.
or phone number, I think that would be great. Even Uncle Shastri, I would like to have his and read about his book. So it'll be nice to get to know people.
In fact, we have a book at our Sai Center. We can circulate it.
Oh, okay. Terrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anand's number and email also would be great. Yeah.
Your own copy, but I have one at our.
Terrific. Terrific. I will borrow it once. Yeah. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Sairam.
Thanks, Sairam.
If anyone wants to read that book, either you can order it or I have one copy. I can give it to you all. We can take turns to read the book. So it's if you want immediate. Otherwise, you can always order online also. So, Sairam, thank you once again.
Now we'll be doing Mahamrityunjay Mantram.
Okay. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Jagadish Hare Swami Satya Sai Hare Bhakti
भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तिमहेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धव ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियं तयुमीरे स्वामी मरियं तयुमीरे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रासयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारतुलंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा साई नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति शांति शांति
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की
जय परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिम् idamastrayami sacred holy and supreme is Baba's vibhuti pouring forth in brilliant streams display of vibhuti so auspicious is its might it grants liberation Baba's vibhuti its power protects us Paramam pavitram Baba vibhutim Paramam vichitram Leela vibhutim Paramardha ishtardha moksha pradhanam Baba vibhutim idamashrayami Sai Baba vibhutim idamashrayami Om Om